If you're tired of being censored on social media, join 60s.net. It's black owned, black operated, and black moderated, and we make sure it stays a safe space for us to talk about all things black culture. We also got some cool gear like the FDM cotton crew neck, the Fearless Ancestors tee, hats, and more. Check us out at 60s.net.
Hey girl, why are you so sad?
I just got banned from Twitter again.
Should have been on 60s.net. Ah.
All right, welcome once again to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially, and this is a place to where the truth gets spoken. You know, get this banner up on here. So we'll just go ahead and start off with that. So once again, like I said, welcome to the Beatzilla PDX official show. I am your host, Beatzilla PDX officially. And while you're coming in, please hit the like and share. And if you have not already subscribed to this broadcast, please hit the bell or hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell and hit the word all. So you'll be notified anytime this broadcast goes live or something is uploaded. Which I do plan to start doing more uploads. Those will be a lot shorter. So we'll see what's going on with that. We'll see how that works. But this show is not going away, of course. So this will be the consistent Wednesday and Friday, the typical show, which is typically about 3 hours. So with that being said, if you are new and wondering why you cannot get into the chat, it's because you haven't subscribed. So subscribe and you will be active. So let's see who we got in the chat right now. We got Sunday Drums and Coffee, Capricornus, Judah Queen, AI Mayat Bay, Nino Black, Silent D Productions, Gregory Van Leer, TJ, Gary James, Desmond Works, Roderick Allen, and Oyela Arquette, Sebastian Shaw, and Nikki the God in the house. Chief moderator present. All right. Denise Soul. All right. Welcome. B1, everybody. And a big salute and shout out to the Cali fam who's been listening to multitasking. I totally understand. Shout out to the California family that has been pushing the line on reparations. It's been a real interesting watch. Actually, they were supposed to just be wrapping up, but they're still going right now because as they were supposed to be closing, somebody just posed another question. But all in all, it seems the lineage-based reparations format first now was voted on yesterday. So now moving on today, they talked to a lot of like Sandy Darity, other economists and whatnot. They were present. So that was a pretty dope thing going on. But, of course, we always have people that are not necessarily there to represent the people to whom they look like. So we have a few of those as well. But we will get to those later on in this broadcast as well. Of course, we were talking about the Will Smith situation with Chris Rock, Tasha Peters. Hey. He said, wait, I'm here. Good to have you in the house. So we have to talk about the Will Smith thing. And y'all know I don't really do a lot of celebrity news. And so this won't really be a celebrity news situation. But there are some things that I noticed about this entire thing. It's interesting to see a lot of different people's takes on it. One of the things that's really interesting is seeing how personal people have taken this whole thing on all sides. So it's really interesting on that end of the spectrum to see. Dang, a lot of people are taking this personal, like they are really invested in their relationship. That's kind of crazy, but it is, their relationship is public, so it is what it is. CH464, what's going on, my brother? So, of course, here also we deal with news. And, we deal with international news, world news, even local news. And something that might have gotten overshadowed by the infamous slap heard around the world. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Okay. Family? See, I don't know. There's very few over in this space that's kind of keeping an eye on it, which is fine for me. As I don't mind doing it because I always like to pay attention to what's going on. Oh yeah, if I didn't mention, the beatzillapdx official show, one of the smaller platforms of the new black media, but nonetheless, the little engine that could. So check this out, family. This is going on over in North Korea. Your boy Kim Jong-un, he got some stuff to look like a music video, but it ain't the kind of song that I think America want to sing.
발사는 대성공으로 평가됐습니다. Oh Lord. So right now, we have a president currently running our country who's an idiot, if y'all did not know. Now, the last one was a racist, overtly. This one is a racist, not so overtly to everyone else. So, black people tend to ignore it when it's still overtly to black people. Unfortunate. But, if only I could see the same investment into the political process for black folks' success that I'm seeing in Will and Jada. And let me address something real quick. There was a person who hopped on the thread today on Twitter. And their thinking is anybody who is mentioning protecting black women because, of the whole Amy Schumer thing, then that means, oh, I'm all of a sudden condoning Will Smith and whatnot. And I understand, a lot of you have grown up in areas where the lead paint might be a little on the heavy side, so I can understand. I'm from where the water's kind of clean, so I don't have these comprehension issues. So it's literally a tweet about Amy Schumer being a Karen. So when I said, wow, you actually can't have black men protecting black women without white women feeling left out. For some reason, one of the super sharp ones out there in Twitter land, so eager to be seen that they jumped off the porch with, well, man, number one, this, because I'm going to get right to this one. I will be coming back to this, but we have to address this part right off the rip. They're telling me about Jason Black's tape, which cool. I heard Jason Black's tape. What's so weird about that as a man is another man telling me what another man was talking about as it pertains to what I'm talking about. See, I understand a lot of you are on the internet looking for fathers. And so what comes out of your mouth real quick is, well, Jason Black said simp, 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 simp. First off, I'm too fat to be a square. Number two, I'm from where the players play. And if you even understood what my family was, I don't even understand where the simp talk come from. Because around here, oh no, we far from that. You had to change one of them letters around. Game goofy ass niggas. So I will start my show by just having to say this, because that's some sucker shit and hoe shit to be doing when you're out here in another man's face talking about Jason Black said this. Jason Black, a grown ass man with his own opinion. Guess what? I'm a grown man with grown kids and a wife of them kids. So maybe my perspective might be a little different since I have a couple decades under my belt with one woman. Do you, when you're calling a person a simp? No, because you don't even have a woman right now. That's why you're regurgitating what another man is talking about. Not saying it's bad information. I'm saying that you're a sucker for doing it. You being a fanboy of another man does not make you look like an alpha man, dude. So next time you want to hop off the porch with old Beatzilla, you might want to think twice. Because, yeah, you got the right one, which actually means you got the wrong one. So then you just go back and forth and turn into troll talk, looking like an ignorant sucker who can't show his face. And at the end of the day, you sound like a shit because he protecting a woman and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something here, ignoramus. Here's a lot, and I'm telling you, boy, from some of the stuff I have heard, some of y'all are going to die alone. And I'm going to tell you for a fact, I know listening to a married man that actually know what the hell he's talking about, it's going to be kind of a hard pill to swallow. I got that. Totally get it. That's why I'm the married one. Shit. Tell yourself what you want to tell yourself. What I will say, commitment. Commitment is a commitment regardless of embarrassment. Still your name over there, right? Now, what I will say is this, and I'll get this out the way quickly. No, I don't condone slapping someone in public, especially another black man on national TV. Here's one thing about that. Will Smith does not control the Oscars. And ABC. There are two entities in play that no one seems to be talking about. I wonder why. Well, it's because of the optics. And we know our people tend to be so emotional. Valley Ray, what's going on? Gary James, what's going on? So our people being so over emotional about this type of subject, look at how invested people are. Oh, she did him wrong. She did him wrong. That blah, 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 blah. Again, I'll say this. Whatever kind of arrangement that a person has in their marriage is their business. Where this thing happened and went wrong is when August Alsina put their business in the public's view and put it in the media and then tried to get clout off of it. Which, truth be told, was a thirsty ass move. It was a sucker ass move. And, you know, it was just a lowbrow thing to do. If you guys already have some kind of understanding, because y'all act like y'all really understand Hollywood out here. That is crazy to me. I'll be listening to some of it. Like, y'all act like these people are the people you see in the grocery store. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Ain't nothing about Will or Jada's life that's comparable to nothing y'all living. Why? Because they number one. Somebody put a 1 in the chat if you make 20 million per anything. So first off, let's put things in perspective. What are we talking about? Talking about someone's marriage. Unfortunately, in our community, there is not a great deal of positive, solid marriage role models these days. And when we have them on TV, then they go try to besmirch them and then take their TV shows off. So we don't see any of that positive stuff. Because if you remember, the Cosby Show would show you generations of married couples. Dark-skinned brother. You said negative. I mean, and like I said, by no means am I condoning walking up on somebody, especially something like that. I have different perspectives about this because as just knowing how things can go around certain environments, and things that can come along with those environments, as you are preparing or propelling yourself to the height of stardom in Hollywood. See, here's the one thing I always trip out when I hear people talk about the celebrities and the celebrities and the celebrities and the celebrities and the celebrities. Let me tell you something. Hopefully this sinks in. I know it's going to be very hard to fathom what I'm about to say, but I really need you to understand what I'm about to say here and let it sink in. Your broke ass has 1,000 times more freedom than any celebrity to say what they want to say. Keep things in perspective and context. Here's a person who is dealing with something that no one else has any kind of experience in except for very few. None of them really have typical public lives. Denzel Washington keeps his life out the public view. I don't think y'all ever really knew what the hell was going on with Wesley Snipes in his personal life. He kept his thing so under wraps. Michael Jai White, don't see too much. Tyler Perry, don't see too much. Bill Cosby and Camille, you could see them. But if you understand, if you know, are you watching the pattern? If they're not in show business, which technically Camille Cosby and Bill Cosby works, they're technically both actors. See, that's a whole different situation. Like Courtney Vance and Angela Bassett, they're both actors. And so here we go with Will and Jada, the top tier actor and the actor's wife, because she is not a top tier actress. She's married to a top tier man, but she is a top tier Black personality within America and abroad. That now becomes a business. Like it or not, what's now more important? Your multi-million-dollar business or the air of emotion? For some people, it would be emotion. I'm not saying one thing is right. I'm not saying the other thing is wrong. What I am saying is, to everything comes a choice for everyone. And we just got to live in respect with whatever choices they're living with. Feel me? So if they have some kind of open relationship and that's cool, yeah. Well, the one thing I don't understand what everybody is missing about this. Y'all think the only problem in his life is Jada? Damn, y'all get short-sighted too quick. Way too quick. Number one, his own mama is saying, I ain't never seen him like this. What he's doing don't make sense. Every time you have seemed to hear somebody in that predicament, what came next? See, here's the one thing y'all don't understand. Hollywood's no different. Hollywood is the same beast as these politicians, as these shields. So the same rule applies. Eddie Griffin said it best. No one gets out unscathed. He could throw his open marriage out there. Now what's dirtying him up? We talking business. Y'all up here talking emotions. He's a multi-million-dollar man. What else is happening around the world? Dave Chappelle, another multi-million-dollar man who said, kiss my ass. To the strongest shamers on the planet. And basically kicked all the wheels off of their little wagon. You ain't heard too much of the trans lives matter. You ain't heard them at all. Matter of fact, the trans lives matter people are beefing with the white feminists. Yeah, we'll sit this one out. See, here's the thing. People be like, man, we got to know what the hell we don't. Trust me, there's a method to the madness. Don't be a sprinter. This is a marathon. I've seen so many come and go. I've seen so many get burnt out. Seen too many get burnt out. Man, what's wrong with our people, man? I get it, because you thought this was just going to happen overnight. It don't. So when you see things like this, y'all minds are thinking like, well, man, I can handle this. I can handle that. Yeah. Let me ask you this. What if they told that dude right before he went out there to get this award that this is it? After this, they're going to tank his career. And if he bucked, they'll blow his brains out. Or he end up OD'd in the tub. Maybe we want to start going back looking at how some of these artists went out. When y'all just thinking it's all about him being a simp. Let me see. Put your ass in a vice. The world, life, and life's opinions. Y'all can't even sit up here and let somebody tell you your hair crooked in the picture. Oh, no, oh, who the hell you gonna talk? Oh, bitch ass, no. Oh, y'all ready to go off. This man got to sit up there and smile for the world while all y'all talk shit about it. And he can't have one moment to go break. I think it's ought to be ashamed of yourselves, man. And oh man, we gotta stick together. We gotta stick together. Well, the first thing that y'all should have did about this was shut the fuck up. This is a black man and a black woman. Why are y'all making it such a spectacle on this big thing? He wrong, she wrong. What? Oh my God. Y'all be killing me, man. Y'all be killing me. And y'all so invested. This is celebrity drama. Y'all sit up there and got all invested in something that was literally produced before your face out of a room of nothing but award-winning directors, writers, actors. I would assume that the finest of security would be there. Clearly, the people who condemned the actions and told him to leave wouldn't allow the thing to air on both coasts, right? People like to say, well, some people are conspiracy theorists. Are we really? Are we really? So I know people are like, man, no, this she ain't that. Now, let me get into something about this. Because there's some deeper things also. Let's look at this. Majority of these events have been speculated to be some kind of underworld ritual. There's certain things that have been brought out or brought to the forefront when you think of certain entities. I mean, just kind of something to think of. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I'm not saying it's a this or that thing. I'm just simply saying weigh all the options. What are all the angles at play here? One of them that I see, I guess we about what? How many months are we away from the whole Travis Scott thing? About 6? About right? Where are we at? Is that even it? What? This is the 3rd month. So, November, December, January, February. We about 5. What else happened? Oh, yeah, we're around the solstice too, right? Or spring, moving into spring, and all these good things are happening. Just had Passover. For those of you who celebrate it, hey, man, what do I know, dude? I mean, there are greater minds than me that are still eating bacon. So, Boogie, this is going on. Sugar Jones. So, and Louise, hey, you know, I just hope y'all just don't take this too serious. You know, because these people here, they're celebrities. They're supposed to be. But something else before I really dive in here. Let me get this banner off the screen. There we go. So let's take a little flashback, walk down memory lane from Dave Chappelle about Hollywood.
Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Are y'all following me? You know, I'm carefully speaking, but truthfully speaking. You did? At the end of the day, the truth is the truth. So let me see what's next. So let's take a flashback for Will Smith.
Conspiracies.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm serious.
No, definitely.
You felt that the government was deliberately trying to make people ill with the AIDS virus?
The AIDS virus is a result of genetic warfare testing.
By American agents?
Absolutely.
That they had a medication that was infected with the AIDS virus. They took the product off the market in the U.S. But what's worse is once they knew that whatever it was in the blood was killing people, they said, you know what, we're going to take it off the market here. And then they immediately started selling in places like South America and Asia, where people actually went to prison. You had actually people working for the companies overseas going to prison. Nobody went to prison here.
After learning its history, why would you want to trust America's government?
And for my moderator, Judah Queen, you know, one more time.
Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Straight up. And, you know, on top of that, one of the things that they aren't showing, and before I forget, congratulations to Samuel Jackson for getting I think it's the Governor's Award Oscar. So, and Denzel actually presented it to him. They did not air that, which, you know, Hollywood is ground zero for wickedness. Absolutely. And, you know, it just for, I don't know who is into etymology or the meaning of words. One word in particular, which is another word for Hollywood. It's called Nickelodeon. You guys ever want to go find out what that word actually means? Some of you might be surprised. Some of you might not be surprised. But yeah. So check this out. This happened in the break. Y'all done seen the slap enough, so I don't need to show that.
Please take your seats. Thank you. 25 seconds. Please clear the aisles down front. 15. Please clear the front, please. Clear. Thank you.
You seen Denzel go over there trying to kind of work it out.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
So one thing that happened, and none of us seen it. He said Sam looked like a big old time. He was over the moon because he got that award. Well, and I'll say it like this. When you're in a industry for as long as Sam, that's his craft. If he loves his craft and is getting a reward for his work that he takes pride in, I have no problem with him enjoying his night when they finally call his name. Because let me tell you something. As much as I've done musically, guess who was the first ones to be asking for comp tickets, or if I can get tickets for something, or if I can make a phone call to get somebody for free on my name? Oh, guess who don't get called when the endorsements come through? You. So here's that. Because we don't treat our people worth a damn. You got all this talent right up under you. You got talent in your family you won't pay. I don't want them to help you out when they see you go do something for somebody else like that. No problem. Well, why won't you help me out? Because you don't have no respect for me. Zene J, welcome. So, as I look at it, I feel that there probably could be bigger issues at play. And this is just something that played out. Or it could be staged. Because let's look at it here. This is the Academy Awards. We're really supposed to think that this is so not together. I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. Queen Adia, welcome, welcome. Hey. All right. He said my mother changed her mind about becoming a gospel singer to the Queen. One of my first times being, I guess, how do I put this? When I had conversations about my the furtherance of my career, you know, you will understand what's in front of you. It will be no secret what they want from you. It's all up to what you really know you are. And what you know you'll do, and what you know you won't do. Now, but if you are willing to participate in certain things, well, maybe after time, you just are tired. Wasn't that what Michael Jackson was talking about? Michael Jackson literally a whole month before his death. Was it May 25th of 2010? He did an interview at the press club, and he went in went in. He was like, black folks, don't let these people tell you you're not special. You created everything. 30 days later, I'm walking back in the office from lunch. Hey, have you heard about Michael Jackson? Has anybody talked to you? No. You might want to check your phone. Yeah. Michael Jackson ain't dead. Turned on my computer. I called my wife. Like, yo, it's like, yeah, it's looking like it. As you know, by this time they got the whole news people outside their house. Damn. This is way before the days of live YouTube. Back then we had to use Ustream. Totally sucked. And Ustream is about the same quality as it was in 2012. It's straight garbage. You can see I got something else to play because we're going to get into, this one right here. But I got some elders. I got a good treat for y'all that we are kind of going to take the show out with today. So we have none other than Marcus Garvey. I figured, a piece that from him I think is very fitting for the moment. So with that being said, we're gonna play that a little while later. But let's get this little piece. Because here's the other thing. Who loses in this? Other than the optics of black folk. Chris Rock, as a comedian, his shows just now went through the roof. And he's selling out lickety split. Overnight, his whole tour is just getting bought out. Bam. Because you already know, oh man, it's going to be the whole big stick. So, well, Chris Rock didn't lose. All he had to do was get slapped. Ate it. Okay, cool. Will Smith. What he losing? And some people are confused. They're like, well, they gave him a standing ovation in there. Well, wouldn't it? Ain't that Hollywood? Why the hell wouldn't it? Everybody in that room done killed about, at least half of them done killed one or two people per movie. Right? I mean, hey, it very well could be a situation where you have a whole room full of actors and production companies and whatnot, and somebody who has never conducted themselves in this manner just goes off for something that seems so minuscule. Usually when you see something like that, there's something else going on. And the easy, convenient excuse is the Jada situation with August Alsina. Here's another thing that kind of kills me. I hear people saying, well, man, he wouldn't have swung on such and such. He wouldn't have swung on such and such. Why didn't he go swing on August Alsina? Only thing he would have been swinging on August Alsina for was actually telling what the agreement was. Because if y'all remember, August Alsina said they had an agreement. So they if that was what it was, it's what it was. That's not my place to judge their personal business. Even the Bible say God don't even judge married people on the bed. So I mean, hey man. Yeah, who am I? Of course, anybody can have an opinion, but At the end of the day, I mean, that's them. You know, it's them people business. They put it in the light, so I can't say that they are totally, and you know, they're not totally gonna get privacy. Of course not. But I don't expect to kind of like if y'all notice that there's a few people I have not really spoken on. I haven't really spoken on the Kim and Kanye thing because for me, I don't even understand. Y'all don't see what's happening there? Okay. Kanye West is being made the new Britney Spears. And then what they're doing with Kim is somehow elevating her into some Miss Wholesome thing. It's like, no, she's been married about 4 times, and then she only is really known for having Ray J's riding her mouth. So that ain't really something that we need to be celebrating. And then we're talking right now about why we just looked at this way. Look at what the hell you keep co-signing. You can't keep co-signing bullshit and be wondering why somebody say you stink. I mean, good grief. At some point, you got to say enough is enough. That don't represent us. You know, so many black folks, and we got so many of these damn infiltrators that come in our midst that want us to play the old stupid church doctrine and take everybody in. That ain't what we're supposed to be doing. If these people ain't right, then we ain't dealing with them. And that whole thing with Kim Kardashian, she's done nothing but exploit her whole whoredoms, was able to turn herself into something wholesome based off of Kanye marrying her, have, 4 kids? And then can't even respect the man's wishes that he don't want his teenage daughter on TikTok? I hear people saying, oh, he crazy. What? You understand how? And everybody, well, we need fathers in the house. Where the black fathers? Where the black fathers? And the black fathers, the first opportunity y'all get, y'all shitting on black fathers. With no hesitation. No hesitation. And my problem with this coon that hopped up on Twitter today is you missed an opportunity to talk about Amy Schumer, to talk about how much of a simp that Will Smith is. You punk ass nigga. Man, I'm telling you, there's so many of you little beta male Bill boys out here that are running around in these spaces acting like you're men. Talking like you're soft, but you're trying to portray yourself as a man. Because first off, young men, you would learn if you actually grew up around some G shit that you don't insult anybody you don't know. But ain't nobody taught you that. That's how I know you ain't been around nothing. Go up there disrespecting somebody you don't know. Here's the other part. You definitely don't come off insulting someone you don't know because you have no clue who they are or how they're going to receive what you say. But you're so emotional that you would be that disrespectful right off the rip. Man, I'm telling you, your spines are paper thin. You see through. Transparent. I mean, you you ooze Twinkie feeling every time y'all typing that punk shit on the internet. When you start, but when you hop up on these cameras, somebody say, get your ass on the camera, all of a sudden nobody got nothing to say. This is my problem. We have let too many of our weak get up here on platforms and start talking like they actually are about their life. They not. You don't even, some of you that's talking and calling people simps and trying to analyze people's relationships, you don't even know how to walk up to a female and get your mouth game popping. It's just amazing to me. It's like, what the hell are y'all talking for? You can't walk nowhere and pull nothing. Belly Ray, you still in my chat? I mean, man, this cat took me to the strip club years ago. I'm sitting up here. This is when me and my children were still young. So me and my wife used to work opposite shifts. So I'm like, hey, man, you know, me and my wife, we finna go grocery because when my kids was young, and every now and then we got the free weekend. It's like, shoot, when you get off of work, we finna go straight grocery shopping. I meet your grounds 3:30 in the morning, baby. I'm in and out. So, man, we were at the strip club, right? Just sitting up there chilling. While we're sitting there chilling, this chick come and buy us drinks. She's one of the dancers. Now, all these other people over there, oh man, over there. She wanted to come see what we was talking about. My thing is this. Y'all cats would be talking all of this. Y'all ain't this. Ain't no simp around me, player. We far from that around here. So I don't even understand how y'all be talking simp this, simp that, because you don't even know what that is. I can tell when a dude don't know he a simp, because he be like, man, I don't spend all this money on a female and I don't know how to get her to do what I want her to do. Yeah, you ain't never been up under no real game, player. So I know. I mean, y'all watch a few videos. Y'all watch a few Jason Black. Jason Black is a man who's lived life. You're a dude who just came across his videos yesterday. That ain't you. You still game goofy. Cash just cracked the egg yesterday, all of a sudden acting like they're Eagles. Cut it out. She said she will choose you. Thank you. Well, I mean, if she can smell it on you, I mean, but that's just like alpha omits energy, beta omits energy. You either be in the strip club paying, or she gonna take their money and leave with you. It can happen one of two ways. And most of you that be calling people simps, you're the ones at the front of oh yeah, oh Diamond. That's you, dude. I mean, come on. Very right. Like, I'm not lying. Shit. Like, I literally just told you a real story, y'all. So this is not fake. So when you guys start popping up here and be talking all of this and that, yeah, man. First off, you need to go get some understanding about yourself. And stop worrying about people that already got a relationship or is at least in a situation where you know they dealing with people. I mean, man, we got so many of these fanboys out here. It ain't funny, man. And that's a problem. Fanboys with no game, but a lot of beta energy. So it's a lot of argumentative energy at that. Have y'all noticed that? Like, I gotta have the last word. You got it, dude. You got it, bro. So, with that being said, anybody that comes on there and bypasses the white woman, the Karen who's clearly Karening, interjecting herself just to sit up here and it's one of them things where, you know, when people see like, oh, here's an opportunity to get my shit off because I see his name and Tariq's name in the same. So every time I tweet or get responded to, then I get seen. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who is known as a troll killer. All you're going to do is embarrass yourself. And you're going to make yourself look overtly stupid. Because number one, I know exactly how I'm using my words. So when I phrase what I phrase, oh yeah, I got it. So you'll come over here. You say, stalking Lisa Reyes. You know? Oh, man. So, yes, that's so funny. She putting herself in the mix. But here's the cold kicker, man. Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes was like, yeah, I guess. And I get it. She's Chris Rock, homegirl. Chris Rock really, really helped elevate her career as well. But, man, something that y'all need to stop doing. Stop all this talking about pressing charges. He need to press charges. He need to press charges. Cut that shit out. Don't be advocating for no black man to press charges on another black man. What the hell is wrong with y'all? They did all of this in front of enough white people. Trust me, they do not need your assistance calling for some charges to be pressed on somebody. Not to mention, the same people that's actually asking for charges ever talk about reparations. Because some of the, half these actors is talking shit, actually live in Hollywood, D.L. Hughley, and some of the rest of you who got so many of these deep opinions and all of that. There's been a whole meeting for the last 2 days. You guys been part of that? Because here's another thing that some of y'all might not even know. Even Roland's boy had to co-sign what we were saying. Yeah, Mr. Carr, yeah, shout out to you. You actually did your job because you actually had to come in there and tell the truth. Props to you. Now you can go back on Roland and tell how everybody over here ain't got no influence, but I guess you see that's not true. So anyway, back to Wanda Sykes. Just another opportunity. Oh, and Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's another odd timing chime in. It's like, wait a minute. Wasn't you afraid of this a whole establishment? So I'm just, again, if this is real, I'm also noticing that there is a certain group of people looking to take shots at Will Smith if y'all ain't paying attention.
Story we're still all talking about as Will Smith continues to face backlash for slapping Chris Rock during Sunday night's Oscars. Co-host Amy Schumer broke her silence, taking to Instagram admitting she's stunned and sad. Amy writes in part, still triggered and traumatized. I love my friend Chris Rock and believe he handled it like a pro. Stayed up there and gave an Oscar to his friend Questlove, and the whole thing was so disturbing. So much pain in Will Smith.
Amy's fellow co-host Wanda Sykes also shared how the moment made her feel during an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Take a look.
And I just felt so awful for my friend, Chris, and it was sickening. It was absolutely. I physically felt ill, and I'm still a little traumatized by it.
Me too. Meanwhile, Thomas Hayden Church called into Sirius XM's Debatable and shared his harsh take on how Will should be punished.
What he did, despite how he tried to scramble for an explanation and quite frankly, I think a pretty pathetic excuse that he was doing it out of love, out of protection for Jada. I mean, in my mind, and I don't know if it's ever going to be put to a vote with the Academy. It's, obviously a very big and diverse organization. I think that Will Smith should be banned from the Oscars for the rest of his life. I think he should have his Academy membership stripped. But I don't think he should have the Oscar taken from him.
Steve Harvey also weighed in on the subject matter of Chris Rock's joke, which, as we know, poked fun at Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head, which is a result of alopecia.
Yeah, during a recent discussion on his Steve Harvey morning show, Steve said Will completely overreacted as he felt the joke did not warrant that type of response.
I understand that defending the honor of your wife. I'm that dude. But you're going to have to do something. He didn't dishonor her. For that. He didn't do that. That joke was not worthy of the reaction. If he was going to have a reaction, I think that Will should have done the man thing, was step to him afterwards in that press room. And if he wanted to slap Chris then, he could have slapped Chris in the press room and seen how it went. Right. But see, Will laughed. But see, he laughed at the joke till he saw Jada's reaction. Yeah. Now, let me tell you something. That's a Hollywood move now. to go up there on national TV, slap another black man, turn around your back and walk off because you know he can't do nothing.
And in other news, Chris Rock returns to the stage in Boston tonight as he kicks off his Ego Death World Tour. Ticket sales have skyrocketed, as you can guess, since the Oscars incident. Sangeeta, what do you think of all this right now?
We had the raw emotions on Monday when you and I had that conversation.
Right,
Sunday night we felt it. Now it's like all the celebrities are coming out and talking about it. And I go back to that night. And the first question, I was running around and I said, did everyone give him a standing ovation when he was doing his speech? I wanted to see people's reaction afterwards, after the math. I knew, people said they should have taken him out or, people should have reacted. It's hard when you're in that situation how to react, right? People just did what they knew. When I think about what Jim Carrey said, they were spineless that night. And, there's not that much respect for Hollywood anymore. And I think back to that moment and now people are responding outside of the box, knowing what social media is saying and saying, yeah, the slap, and everyone agrees the slap was wrong. Do you think he should not be invited back to the Oscars?
Hollywood.
I don't know. I think, listen, the Oscars has been kind of like fighting with the idea of low ratings for a very long time.
Yeah.
They want to have really high ratings next time. Have him on with Chris, right? Like we talk about this. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, if it's the wrong thing to do, but if they want those people watching, that's like the easy get for people to see what,
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, it's exciting to actually see what Chris is going to do with his stand-up when it comes to this. Like his very first performance out of this, obviously going to talk about it, obviously has things he's going to say.
I don't know if he's going to acknowledge it. And I hope he does, because I was on Twitter with his brother, Tony Rock, and one of the questions, he does this thing, a ritual where he answers question. And one of them was, do you approve of the apology? And he said no. So his brother, he's kind of talking on his side. So does he bring it up or not? Maybe he still wants to press charges. And if he does, he cannot speak about it tonight, right? So let's see what happens. And I love the fact that his ticket sales have gone up because people, want to see this and see what he has to say. But at the end of the day, I think Chris Rock should be doing the Oscars. But I think Will Smith should not be invited to the Oscars after that.
We have a lot of people agreeing with you here. People saying that Will should be banned. Someone here says not Jada, but Will. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to go on for a while. There's a lot to talk about there for sure.
Yikes. Yes, they have so much to say. Now, here's the part. This is the opportunity. And again, is Will Smith that much of a company man to maybe stage something like this as the biggest premiere star would be getting an Oscar for a movie that some people had problem with, I think, mainly because it was about a positive story with the black father and his daughters, King Richard. Because here's one thing that most people are missing about that night. King Richard that's the big deal. King Richard. Even more so. What about that other woman that took the shot at Venus and Serena? Now, she did get an Oscar, but clearly the King Richard movie struck a nerve with suspected white supremacists. And, we're having people saying, well, hey, man, Amy Schumer ain't white, she's Jewish. Jewish is not an ethnicity. It's not a race, it's a religion. Well, there were Jewish people that did, but see, they actually are tied to a ethnic land or ethnic group, which majority of the people to whom you would be referring to would be Polish. There are also some, in Ukraine, Zelensky looks very white to me. Maybe I missed something, I don't know. And then, Yeah, Hitler, man, he wasn't over there killing a bunch of, he wasn't rounding up white people and putting them in concentration camps. Wrong. They don't come over here and, they identify, some white people are starting to identify as black now. Well, now the lineage-based thing is kind of came about now. No, I think some people can now go back to the drawing board. Speaking of that, let me show you something. So while we had this whole reparations lineage thing going on in California, never forget, these four faces to your left are the four individuals who actually voted against lineage-based reparations. So this woman to the bottom left, her name is Lisa Holder. She calls herself a civil rights attorney. Well, I guess she acts more like a public defender because she's definitely a black pretender. The one next to her is Cheryl Grills. She is like the leader of was it NARC or in it's either NARC or in Cobra. They're NARC and in Cobra people. And so you see the little woman on the left. That is the woman who has utter contempt for lineage-based reparations. But even more so, she's really, really upset at our sister Camila Moore right now because, as you know, public spaces happen, and public spaces or they're forums when you have public money. You have to make an account for the public money that you are allotted to spend. And for some reason, this woman wanted to be pulled aside prior to the meeting to kind of have a heads up on something that her firm had already taken a lot of money in and had already missed deadlines of producing. Oh, you know what she was in charge of producing? Oh, I'll tell you. She was in charge of producing the sources of communication so the people with descendant of American chattel slavery, and she was even trying to shoehorn even all of this African line, this lingo into the bill. Her group made sure that the rest of the people never were informed. So a lot of people in California didn't know that this happened until yesterday. And that was after the meeting finished and after the vote. So what does that tell you? That tell you that all of these media apparatuses had long been watching this study, but they didn't report on it. But as soon as the vote came, oh, wow, there's a story, there's a story, there's a story, there's a story. Oh, wow, you didn't even want to admit that this was happening, huh? Notice how that was coordinated. Make no mistake about that. Now, if you're wondering who these people on the right are, well, you might think that they are part of the group that these people on the left are part of. Well, yes and no. See, what you're seeing right here on the right bottom of the screen is a bunch of these others that were lying in wait for Miss Cheryl Grills and Lisa Holder and Mr. Reggie Jones Sawyer and Mr. Donald Tamaki. They were waiting for them to do the job that they were paid allegedly to do, and that was sabotage lineage-based reparations. Shout out 6 Zeros. He came up with that graphic that you see, that picture on the screen. And so who's on the bottom? Well, this is this Hispanic coalition for Hispanics and Afro-Latinos and indigenous people who have, of course, already been broken off. So, four horsemen of the apocalypse, they damn sure tried it. Absolutely, Gravity Beyond, because they damn sure tried it. So what happened is, oh yeah, and yeah, make no mistake, once you seen the dude Tanaki, it's like, this is a conversation about black folk business. What are you doing here? So they were basically working to get this group eligible here. So their whole mission was to make sure that these other people who would know that, see, they're already having meetings. They counting our dollars over there, family. You better pay attention, y'all. They over there counting our dollars. They got a bit. Their meeting was bigger than the actual meeting itself for our situation. Ain't that something? And I mean, I say ours as black folks. I'm not part of California. However, I'm in the state of Oregon, where one of the first pieces of something like that out here was done. And that was held up by a so-called brown ally who immediately went to the white unions talking about how doing anything specifically for black Oregonians is racist. Well, those people are backed by these people. See it? Don't you feel so confident with them backing reparations for the African community? I support reparations to African people. Look at them two sisters up there, too. Now, here's what's really janky, though. Man, I hear, it's so funny, some of the stuff you can hear out here. Man, if this type of thing was going on in my city, I would have had to be, they would have been put on blast by now. If this was happening in my city, I'm just saying, if this was happening in my city, man, we're going to have some discussions like what's going on. I mean, just like I've already reached out to them people and told them to stay the hell up off of the reparations hashtag in the first place, because they were trying to do some indigenous type jargon. And I'm like, no, we ain't mucking this one up. So here is basically their philosophy. Let's read what these people are trying to do. So there is no confusion. 5 reasons why reparations are owed to African people. Number 1, wealth and power were built on a foundation of stolen African labor. So actually, you're vaguely putting foundational Black American language in this, but watch the craftiness on stolen land of indigenous people. So what they did right there was just identify 2 different groups that already were identifying as one. Number 2, ongoing terror. So that means right now today for the people in our community, correct? Like the George Floyds and the Sandra Blands, Tamir Rices and such, right? Terror and Othell Wallace, shout out to that brother. He's over there, still up there fighting for his life on a case to where a policeman tried to ambush him and lynch him. Not that they're going to call it that. So big deal, we got a bill. But anyway, lynchings and violence by white citizens and the state. Lord. Okay. Number 3, looting of Black wealth through violence, such as in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, Florida. That is so overtly vague, and then like what was going. What does that even mean? You know what I mean? What the hell does that even mean? Yeah, shout out to Ozone, man. Y'all get that brother out of there because he don't belong with it. He did the right thing and protected his life. I believe he has children, so he got children to raise. He ain't there to be dead. he at his house. So another conversation how people even knew where he stayed, but I ain't getting into that now. Number 4, stolen resources and oppression have benefited all white people who own 70 trillion in generational wealth. I mean, you know a nothing burger when you hear one family? Because this absolutely describes zero. Number 5, African people in the U.S. and the world live under colonialism and the domination of a whole, it got cut off. But y'all get the gist of it. And then all these people down here, look at them names down there. What do any of these people, you could tell this is the tether we trying to get in where we fit in crowd right here. You did? African people. So that is why they were trying to do all of the changing of the language in that bill. Yeah, redlining, police genocide, Louise, absolutely. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you read that. It's like, what? Yeah, exactly. What the hell? So let me take a look in this chat, see what y'all talking about. Because what y'all think about that, man? This is it's for real nutty, man. For real. So let me go up here and see what y'all talking about. So they didn't want a melanated family intact, Cleaner did. No, they did not. CH464 said, I'm so tired of these people with their fake outrage of everything. I hate this place. Ain't that the truth? Gary J said, why was that Asian man on the board? Everybody who the first thing, I mean, if you go into their meetings, the first thing you're gonna notice, like, dude, the hell is going on here? So I mean, that's how everybody knew. Oh, okay, they up here with the bullshit. Nikki said she's a witch. Judah Queen said, shame on those demons. Oh man. Gary J said two-thirds of our people have to go. Absolutely. And with the whole 2/3 thing, like I got a whole my Facebook page is littered with 2/3 Club volunteers. Prime example, I posted the picture. Let me show you something. So the picture that's here in my thumbnail, right? So what does it read? It says, I see people saying that Will Smith made black people look bad, but also those same people. And you see the person standing with Ukraine. I stand with Ukraine shirt on. And then the other one is simply a clown. Talking about, remember, if you don't vote. And so I had somebody chime in. And man, if that person's here, chime in the chat. I will give you the opportunity to call in. If you are willing to stand on what you say. Because see, here's the thing. We have these black folks that get so used to doing nothing but insulting other black folks that they don't really actually know how to have an intelligent conversation without it. So, I posted that. The first question is, what's wrong with, matter of fact, let me just go read that because, I've told people already, and for you, I'm going to give you the opportunity to call in here. But like I said, I'm finna start just going here and putting people's faces up here that keep doing that shit to me. Because, that shit get on my nerves. It's so disrespectful to be doing. You act like you're smart. You ain't invested in shit. You ain't even invested in your own future survival for your own damn children outside of what the white man done told you was going to be. And then act like you can talk shit to me. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. Where I know you super woke folk. Okay, so let's read the first one, shall we? It's Miss Chanel. Anytime you want to call up here, lady, you go ahead and do that and catch that issue. Why is standing with Ukraine bad? Laughing, crying emoji. I know y'all super woke folks got some conspiracy level insight on that one. Conspiracy level insight. So let's first look at the thing. The very first response is, what's wrong with me caping for these white folks? I don't know. Second thing, I know y'all super woke. So here's the insult. And high level conspiracy. Now you're trying to devalue a fact because you're a fucking dumbass. And I'm sorry for cussing y'all, but I just had to say it because, and I don't like to speak like that on this broadcast, but for this one, I told this person to chime in, and I just need you to hear it straight out of my mouth. I called you an idiot to your face. You were incredibly stupid. So let's go ahead and read on the stupidity. Because like I said, and truth be told, that's the 2/3 club, man. And like I said, 2 club volunteers. So let it be what it is, man. Let's see. Let's keep going here. So if y'all remember the meme, what I had in my last week's thumbnail with all the screenshot of all of the different Nazi white supremacist propaganda headlines that everybody was talking about for a while until it became beneficial for America. Because you also understand a large part of this war going over there in Ukraine is to ignore us. Don't think this is all about Ukraine. You can give a damn about them people. This is all about making sure that everybody else is distracted. That's why they get dumb mammies like this to start coming over here to black spaces talking stupid. So let's see what Chanel said. Oh, no, this is my response to her. I drop facts, not conspiracy. And so I gave her the screenshot that I'm talking about. And I said, yeah, if you're praying for these people, then you definitely have no good sense. Her response to the picture. So instead of saying, damn, that's messed up, laughing emojis, laughing my ass off. Like what she saw was fake. 2/3 club volunteers. May all of you go find your way to go, number one, before you go anywhere heading over to give them Ukrainian people aid, I need you to make sure you go get your 4th dose of that thing because you got to absolutely make sure you are safe. And anything else that they come out with, matter of fact, Pfizer even got a pill right now. Make sure you help yourself to them, okay? And they also have a male contraceptive. So any male stupid enough to have sex with you raw, make sure that he takes those pills. Anyway, I'll read on. I asked her, I said, these articles are real, right? Because, because now when you have something, all you can do is like troll and laugh your way out of it because you're a dumbass in the first place and you came to a person in disrespect. And I told you, keep coming at me like that, I'm going to clown your ass and put your punk ass on my Super Jam screen, Summer Jam screen. So if you want it, stand on it. Don't be a coon hating on the typing. Bring your ass on this program. You know where I'm at every week. See, I can't stand people like that. So cry, I'm just having fun. I'm not your bitch. And I'm not your nigga. The hell you over here for? I'm giving intelligent conversation. Some of y'all are on my Facebook page. Go holler at that bro. She needs some attention. Some of y'all on my Facebook page. Go holler at that bro. If she wants the attention, go give her dumbass the attention. Every time you see her pop up on my shit. run her ass off of it. So here come another dude who I don't know what goes on in his mind. Maybe he's done too many drugs in his lifetime or been dropped on his head one too many times, but he always thinks he's clever. Have y'all ever met them people who think they so clever but actually are so uneducated that they never even know what they're talking about? To the point to when they come into a conversation, they don't even refer to the context of it. Man, you take the words right out of my mouth. Oh, so he said, so yeah, she took the words right out of his mouth. Let's go back to what those words were. Why is standing with Ukraine bad? Two-thirds club volunteers. And y'all be up here thinking y'all so smart. Aboriginal woman, I think I seen you in the chat. Shout out to you, sister. Man, these people be thinking they so smart. And these are the people, when we start talking about no tangibles, no vote, this dumbass is the one who hops out the woodwork. Hey, I mean, if we ain't gonna get nothing, because they still think they're smarter than us because they voted for Joe Biden. And just because Joy Reid told them that there wasn't racist Nazis over in Ukraine, they believe all the facts that we're playing them ain't real. Yes. May the Lord act expedient as possible to fulfill your wishes to get your two-thirds club card ASAP, because we really need you up out the way. I'm telling you, like an 1804 boy made a what happened? Can the Passover spirit come back? You miss some of y'all. Man. So I said this. Where is that at? Because, she's talking. I said something about slick dissing. Because I told her about the woke slick dissing. So actually, I told her to tune in right now. So, I mean, with all that shit talking and whatnot, you can pop up on anything I post that fast. You should be in this chat right now. I mean, hell, you do want my attention. So come and get it. And like I'm saying, this is the last time I will ever mention anything about you without showing who you are. Your name and your face, you come in my shit doing that one more time. Nigga. And then I ain't gonna hear, oh man, why you do it like that? Why you do it? Because Mikey ain't a bitch. Tell your family that. Stop playing with me, because I don't play with nobody like that. So if you don't want to be out, you better hear my mouth good and ask him if I play like that. About what I'm saying. Now put your face up on the screen and you can get all the attention you want, because that's so important. While we up here really talking real life, real facts, trying to get real stuff done. This is the new black media over here. But what they say, prophet get no respect in his own town, ain't that the damn truth? I mean, people who know you just want to be disrespectful for no reason. Y'all see all the work I do here? Giving this information out, first thing this person wants to do is talk to me like I don't research nothing. These are the people to whom we have in our mix. And y'all got to be very careful, content creators, because these people also turn into fan folks too. So that sometimes also is dangerous. Even if they do like you, that can be damn dangerous. Oh, no, nigga. No, they're not in the chat. No, they're not in the chat. They supposed to be. But, they ain't in the chat. Trust me. I'm sure they watching, though. Chanel. I mean, come on now. So her response to me is, it's far from a slick diss. It was rather blatant. The pride. Okay, here's another thing, real quick. Ladies that absolutely do not want to end up dying alone, like Chanel right here will. What you want to make sure you don't do, or be mindful of at least, is that when you're making ignorant comments like that and you're just so passively aggressively negative, maybe your future husband that will actually would have possibly been a potential future mate just saw how stupid your ass really is, how ignorant and low-minded you are, and how your values of life are in the gutter. But hey, it's all fun and games because you can laugh off a loss. I don't know. Laughing off loneliness might be a little rough when the years start piling up. Anyway, let's continue. Undeniable that those of you who are ultra enlightened, in parentheses, see, I didn't say woke. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you. Tend to repetitively point out and speak only the negative. Last Friday was a broadcast that I believe I dedicated to a Queen Mother. Here's one, Miss Chanel, that I know you're not familiar with her name because she's actually a positive influence. Her name is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And just last week, I actually played another one to whom actually you probably do need to get her book and understand that you're the one that she was talking about that's a problem that doesn't know how to control her mouth. That book is called The Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And her name is Dr. Shahrazad Ali. These are respectable women, ones that do understand how to carry themselves in public and carry themselves abroad, to which you do not. Getting your nails done, getting your hair done, and being dolled up and everybody else seeing you able to look like something while you speak like trash is just as valuable as your words. So yeah, somebody come pounce on your drawers real quick, but ain't nobody about to farm, have they, baby? Next, we only repeat, but I mean, hey man, we only point out the negative. I love y'all for it, but usually if you dig through enough the negativity, it's something worth learning. That's why I follow. Thank you, Zena J. Respecting the depth details of your research. Thank you. L. Middleton. I mean, Shawana, hey, you know this, and I'm telling y'all pay attention. So my response to her was, what's the positive in praying for Nazis? And for the other cat that chimed in, I told him, you must really like racist Nazis. Well, good for you, I guess. And for him, you know, I fully understand what his issue is. He just hopes that like these white Ukrainian women finna come over and he can get with one that ain't gonna give him the same problems that the meth heads he fooling with now is giving him. It's like, you know, they doing meth over there in Ukraine too, dummy. So all you're gonna do is get an international drug addict that can barely speak English. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, gloves is off this season, baby. We are not being disrupted by no sucker shit this year. Yeah, no. So either step up or step off. Now, what he says is, did I say that? Or did you cause, or did you? Because I'm replying to the first comment. I was trying to figure out what the problem is with Ukraine. If I wasn't reading this shit to y'all be thinking I was lying. lead paint is real. The lead paint is real. Jesus. Oh, man. Oh, God. Painfully stupid. And they think they're clowning me. That's what's so crazy about it. They literally think they're clowning me. It's like, yo, anyone worth their salt reads this? No, oh, okay. Yeah, I know. And for this dude, any chick that can see you, dude, see a trick coming a mile away. And guess what? All she got to do is tell you how much of a player you are. Dummy. Game goofy. And then got you all stems. Weak niggas. So what I told him, because I'm so sick of this, Black Mama, what's going on? I had to tell him. Look, Donna O'Neill, hey. Hey, maybe next time, get the context before speaking. You know, so you don't look lost in the conversation. See, I know people around you haven't talked intelligent enough to you to not use trigger words and you to understand what they meant. So I'm going to give you a grown-up lesson on what I just said. Shut your little ass up. Because I know people don't be teaching people nothing out here. So they don't know when, like, oh, no, that was actually what he just said. But y'all ain't been, people got to actually say this word or that. Because, man, have you ever been around somebody and say all these other words just because you don't use the trigger word? They did not absolutely understand what you were saying. Good grief. Good grief. Ouch. So her comeback. For starters, just like every black person isn't a gang member, oh man, the smell of biscuits just like, man, is it me or did it just, you know how like the day you start thinking of something and it's just the waft that you start smelling it? It's like, man, the wafting of biscuits just start, oh, where's that smell coming from? Goodness, we ain't got no biscuits in the house. I don't think. God, cringy cooning. Okay, so let's go back and start again. Beatzilla. For starters, just like every black person isn't a gang member from the hood, every Ukrainian isn't a Nazi. We don't want them grouping us all together, yet it's somehow different when it's us projecting the biased stereotypes. Our people, man. Our people. The Peace Corps can tell you that society over there, and this is the warning for the volunteers here. It's on their website. Go do your own diligent digging. Don't ask me where to find it. You go find it and stop being a lazy dumbass. What I want you to do is go see what they have to say about what they're going to encounter. Oh, I'll help you out though, but don't take my word for it. Go research it. So you may go experience them using the N-words and calling you monkeys, because that's what is typical of society over there. So if you didn't know what that meant, Miss Chanel, that means that, yeah, all of them is racist and they have a whole food culture over there about being anti-black. Sorry, them white folks don't like you. I know you aspire to be under them white folks so bad that damn, here's the thought of some Ukrainians. Maybe they'll let me get on in and get where I fit in. Because once the war is over, I can get me a Ukrainian man. Oh, so let's read on. She wasn't done. No, that's pretty close-minded. Are there some racist Nazi Ukrainian? Absolutely. Just like there are some gangbanging black people. Again, you super enlightened individuals tend to only hop on the negative. In order for us to fit your narrative, like I said, you dig through the negative, so there's quality information. Only thing I can positively confirm for you right now, Miss Chanel, is you are a grade A moron. And my response to that was, you are incredibly stupid. And so you can hear me say it by my own mouth. There's no confusion. This is what I feel, what I believe about you. I remember you wouldn't understand why you would be on your own after I told your punk ass to stay out them Asian nail salons. And so if they jump on you, don't you come calling over to the brothers over here, because, you know, number one, she ain't really from my city. She's from across the water, but grew up around the family, whatnot. So she should know better. But here's the problem with our folks. They believe knowing you gives them the utter right to just be disrespectful because they can't respect what you're doing. I mean, I got a cousin that's a filmmaker. I see he has to get more active because he's a Democratic shield, punk ass nigga. So I'm letting you know too. I'm letting you know, brother. Y'all come out the woodwork. Oh, I'm completely out on you, fam. And yeah, you cool. And don't even let me stop right there. I know you a coon. Since we were children, you've been that way. Y'all got that cousin that's always been up under them people ever since you was little kids. This dude can sit over here. Man, he make, like I said, he a filmmaker. He decent. Still punk ass cool. And yeah, I tell you that he already know. I mean, so they like, oh, you always making it seem like I gotta question my blackness. You ain't nobody question your blackness. You been suspect since we've been children. You was a sucker then, you were a sucker now. Only thing is, you willing to take checks from the Democrats. But see, here's too late. This time I say, you know what? Let me move in the realm of 2022 because everybody thought I would wait until 2024. And that's what they had budgeted. So no, I'm going to make you Democrats spend your money on your shields a whole season early. If you didn't know who I am, hi, I'm Beatzilla, the asshole of the new black media. But I'm a pretty smart fella. The little engine that could. Gotcha. Oh, BNC, shout out to y'all. So as things go on with these individuals out here, we have to understand, man, we are in total war. War. Our enemy has nothing but contempt for us. And you got to understand every ounce of everything that they can use against us as leverage to prevent us from lifting ourselves by our bootstraps. Because part of us lifting ourselves up by our bootstraps is this, making a demand. And be clear, this ain't no begging you hearing out of my mouth, nigga. This saying, we gonna get it. And for me, I give a damn what you call us. We'll worry about it when we get to the particulars. But all that matters for me is we're kicking in your damn door and we coming for our shit. I'm not sitting up here telling myself we ain't gonna do. That ain't my job to worry about. Shit ain't y'all's either. Your only aim should be get it. And if y'all ain't on that, then y'all ain't with me. Stay home. It's too much for you. It's real active squad here. Yes, I mean, man, who's trying to go backwards? Haven't we already been down that road? Let's do something new. And one thing we can see, everybody who told you to vote for this genius racist, who is Strom Thurmond's prize pupil, Joe Biden, y'all turned around and voted for the oldest white man ever. And told yourself that your voting rights are being somebody doing something to your voting rights. Well, this is how I feel about it. Why do you even have them? You ain't using them worth a damn. What you mad at? So if somebody kept you from voting, so what? What are you losing? You're voting for nothing anyway. Just from the sake of, hey, I'll tell you what. Just get a blank piece of paper, put it in the envelope, and just mail it somewhere. Tell yourself you voted. Because that's all you're doing anyway to make yourself feel good. I participated. The same people who are talking about how racist Trump is are supporting Joe Biden's Ukrainian war and also supporting the fact that he's actually trying to starve out Russian citizens for the Ukrainian people, who you already know are neo-Nazis. So it makes no sense. On top of that, if you're black coming to me as a black person telling me about what they're going through, kiss my black ass. I can't stress that enough. I don't care what they're going through. They ain't our problem. Yeah, reparations. Yeah, it's all totally terrible what's going on. So how about that check, though? That's what we have with it over here, man. We don't have no time to be up in other people's mix. So don't let this thing get you distracted with this Will and Jada thing, because truth be told, all I'm looking at this is a super hyped up gender battle over two Hollywood actors in a room full of actors and directors doing some shit where no security was. Then the people who air it are talking about condemning it? Does that make sense to you? And then say, well, he wouldn't leave. The hell would I be leaving for? I'm getting my award. What you talking about? He wouldn't leave. Of course not. And on top of that, let's just look at it this way. It's my night. Because here's another thing that no one's looking at. Why the hell would Chris Rock make that joke? Because I haven't heard anybody say this yet. Why Chris Rock making jokes about the man wife? All them white folks in the room. You couldn't pick on nobody else? He the star of the night. Show him some love. Brother to brother. I'm just saying. I get it. Comedian this and that, but on some real shit? Nah, fam. What are you doing? So now, again, that should have been something that happened off script. I totally understand it. However, here's the whole thing that I'm noticing from a lot of y'all men out here. Y'all act like, man, you know, he's just simping that and this and that. Y'all some bitch-made simps, beta males that ain't busting a grape on nothing. So if your woman was insulted, what hand are you raising anyway? So it's funny to me that a man that would never raise his hand for a woman is actually ridiculing a man that did. And okay, whatever, like I said, whatever their relationship is, cool. That's their business. I don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it. But as a married man, you better be worth your salt to be around other men and to be around other real men, regardless of what you say. I'm telling you, as a married man, all that single shit that's cool. Tell that to single niggas. But I'm telling you, as a family man, it's gonna be a discussion, bruh. And if the discussion don't go right, guaranteed it's about to get physical. So if y'all can't understand that line of the game, because where she did this, where she get that, right. That's why y'all niggas ain't ready to be married. Flat out. So women, avoid them suckers, because they ain't ready for commitment. They can talk a good game and might be able to get their paper up, but they ain't gonna be worth shit for the long run. And until you got more than 10 years, I don't want to hear nobody talking about what a marriage is. You better show me a decade strong at least. Can't say shit. I don't want to hear it. Because y'all ain't been in them positions. And it's like everybody who want to be something else, you start claiming what you are because you start fantasizing it in your mind. And because all you can do is fantasize. You can't truly believe because there's no proof. You can fantasize what you think you want to be and what that experience might be like. As far as that'll go. They're living real life, and that's the life that they living, baby. Can't y'all understand the difference? Here's one thing that y'all should understand, though, and I want y'all to take a good message from this. One thing that I have not heard except for maybe one or two people, the big, huge situation that is missing in our midst today is the understanding for the necessity of, first, conflict prevention. Number two, conflict resolution in a positive manner. And a lot of people haven't done that because a lot of people get stuck in arrested development. Then you start just building a harder shell on a hard head. So it makes it harder to sit up here and determine real information versus, are you just trying to make me feel some kind of way? Which I'm seeing a lot of. And you're literally seeing that about somebody's relationship that is completely unrelated to these individuals. That is saying that these people and this group of people have a lot more going on emotionally than they will admit. Because if Will and Jada's situation got you that moved, it's not them that has the problem. Let's just remember how Hollywood works.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Black Mama, thank you so much for your Cash App donation. Appreciate it. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on you. So yeah, family, y'all see what I'm saying, man? This, it could be a small situation. It could be a big situation. Not completely sold that it was staged. And the Capricorn said Dave Chappelle speaks a lot of truth. Yes. And I look at this in this realm. If y'all seen Tariq's broadcast last night, another thing that y'all got to understand about Will Smith. Will Smith up until Sunday was the safe Negro. You know what I mean? He was a safe one. Now, he's just like us now. So what has happened in the last 6 months? Y'all better be paying attention. Black men and black women have been absolutely more connected over the past 8-9 months. The whole gender divide conversation has went away. What you call them went out of business. What's the other anti-black man propaganda group? Not Me Too. What's the other one? Time's Up. Time's Up. They went out of business, closed their doors, right? And be mindful. Yeah, close down for business, close their doors because it was a business targeted at black men. I know these people get out of here and be thinking things just magically occur. No, people just getting on the wave. No, that wave was paid for. Dude, come on. Oh, Sarah Horsford, thank you so much for your donation. PayPal, I seen it. Thank you. Appreciate it, my sister. Yes, indeed. Appreciate it. Peace, power, protection, and blessings be up on you. So yeah, man, you see these people, I just wish, our people would take better perspective of our situation. Now, here's another thing to consider. With all of this talk that our relationships have been so toe up over through post-traumatic slave syndrome. Shout out my fellow PDXer, Dr. Joy DeGroot, and your daughter too. So, to the homies and all the Learys and the Grooves. Shout out to y'all. But just understanding, man, like we've dealt with a lot of trauma. And then you have DNA trauma. And I mean, just like you have traits from your parents, your grandparents, talents in some cases, you did. For those of y'all who didn't know, Joy DeGroove's right here. So is her daughter. Well, actually, her daughter's still here. Joy is, I think she's in Atlanta, but Bahina's still here. So, there's a lot of stuff coming out of this town. People just be like, man, y'all be surprised. Iceman Land. Yeah, and the Iceman Land brought you the book PTSD. Oh, and not to mention some different divisions of the Panthers. But I mean, hey, man, it's so interesting how things happen. Because like I said, remember, let me go back to this. This little group right here, I forgot to mention. This all is taken. So if you see this little store where they're like basically gentrifying the reparations conversation, this is none other than St. Louis, Missouri. That's where that is. So any of y'all out there in St. Louis, Missouri that are riding the line for reparations and pro-black tips and this or that's your city, you might want to check on things around your neighborhood because that don't look good. We need gatekeepers in all strategic locations, East Coast, West Coast, down south, and definitely got to have the Midwest gatekeepers. They got to be there. So, I mean, you just can't let this roll up in your town and hey, man, so y'all got to do something out there in St. Louis. I want to see that. We got to see who these people is. What's happening? Why are they over there co-opting a whole black movement without... They got the one lowly mixed nigga in there. So I guess he probably did. No, he's black. Y'all got to keep eye on people, man. That's how I started learning that. How I even learned who these people was. I was like, oh, so this is who's backing in Cobra? Wait a minute. Why are these people affiliated with anybody of this? You know what I'm saying? Well, how's about that? Shout out to the brother Joe Van Lewis. Now, he is clearly Jamaican, but he is the one who worded it lineage-based. He's also one who voted on lineage-based, as well as the other dominating votes. And just notice that you have 3 black people voting against lineage-based. Why would you be doing that? Well, we need to do it in broad. But see, there's other elements of this other program that would still start getting into programs that other people could benefit from that were affected, but not necessarily in this manner. So you're not going to get a check, but you still can benefit down the road. See, what they were trying to do is get everybody in on the one. And these people right here, excuse me, these people right here have zero claim. None. And this is a whole Hispanic group. They were having meetings. Now, this lady, you go back, this Grills lady, she actually has the communications contract, which none of it has been done. So all the things that's been done in the contract haven't been done. So what it's kind of seeming like might be some funny style situations with the money on Miss Cheryl Grill's part, because all she is doing is being very evasive with the answers. Because the lady presented it and was like, well, hey, I'm looking at the contract. The contract states this and thus. This is supposed to happen in February. This is supposed to happen in January. This other group, you're supposed to be facilitating their meetings twice a month. You're supposed to be paying these other groups that they have got to undergird this thing for their communication purposes, but let me go back. So Miss Grills here told those people to whom she was supposed to be cutting checks to that they would have to use their own stipends to cover it. But the contract clearly states that her organization is supposed to pay for it. Excuse me. So what you're seeing is the possible. I mean, I ain't accusing nobody. I will say this. She was mighty testy. When that got brought up, instead of answering directly to the situation, guess what she did? People keep acting like these legal proceedings are like a Twitter space. You cannot get away with that in these rooms. It ain't gonna work like that. She keeps trying to talk about why the chair did not hit her up beforehand. Mind you, she did bring it up yesterday. So, meaning by now, you know it's an issue. Shouldn't you have came prepared today? Let's say, excuse me, Chair, I would like to revisit a point that you brought up yesterday in that meeting. And that didn't happen. But what actually did happen is they decided to revisit that conversation anyway. She still could not give an answer. The second day, she's like, well, I still don't understand why you didn't just hit me up and beforehand. I mean, I could have just. We're hearing about it now. It's a public forum, and Dr. Brown is like, well, you know, this is a public forum. I mean, this is the public money. You just go ahead. Yeah. So this Reels woman is upset that she wasn't given private forewarning that her spending for the communication of letting the Black eligible members of California and citizens of California know that this was even taking place. Uh-oh. Said I'm buffering? Uh-oh. You might want to refresh. Look like I'm good on this end. But you know what they are doing? They keep messing with the picture quality. So I don't know why they do that. Yeah, well, what they do to Black content creators, we literally like broadcast in like 720, some of us in 1080, right? What they'll do on your TV for some reason will immediately turn you down to 144. But it's only the Black program. I don't have to do that on nothing else. Only shows like this. You should stop that. It's crazy. You know how they do us. You know how they do us. So I wanted to I'm gonna play this these old school pieces because I like to make sure we tie in the old with the new. And I almost forgot though. I got something to play. I almost forgot. Family. So everybody's getting in on the act for the Will and Jada debacle. And make no mistake, even OJ had something to say.
This Will Smith and Chris Rock. Hey, look, it was unfortunate. I think Will was wrong. Look, I understood the feeling. Now, in my life, I've been through a lot of crap, and I was raising two young kids, and every comedian in the country had an OJ routine, and don't think I wouldn't want to be slapped a couple of those guys, but you got to accept it's humor, and I didn't even think that was all that egregious. I thought it was a semi-unfunny joke, but I don't know. I don't get it. I know this. After what happened to me in Las Vegas, if I would have done that in front of 1 billion people watching around the world, they would have given me life without. I'm just saying. Hey, take care.
Well, he ain't really lying. You said YouTube petty as hell, Dustin, brother? Absolutely. DIY queen. Hey, hey. Oh, even OJ got in the mix. That is so funny. But I mean, you know, are we really surprised? Like, okay. That's OJ. Get a little bit of that clout. Go ahead, hop in there and give me a little bit of that Will Smith clout real quick. Yeah, oh yeah, I can't. Everybody weighing in on this. This is absolute craziness. But here's one thing we must not ever forget as well. Because there's many people that are saying things as, well, this is cool, and man, he wrong for this and this. And I mean, I understand. You know, I understand. Like, you know, shit happens, man. So, you know, you never know when the person's at their breaking point, what's going on in that individual's life. You would hope that nothing like this would manifest itself in front of a crowd. But, you know, truth be told, yeah, I would want to, you know, I'm being mindful of the scenario and the situation, I would have waited. But understanding, yeah, I mean, truth be told, you could have waited till the commercial break. I mean, so, and with that being said, then again, it also gives me an idea. How is somebody who has held it together so damn long breaking at the Oscars over a very small joke? It doesn't make sense. However, the confusion and the purpose behind the confusion that it's brought makes total sense. What's up with Ketanji's confirmation? Because everybody now all of a sudden Democrats are starting to kind of see her not as so much of a win. Well, right, we ain't fooling her. So they kind of like, well, what the hell are we going to pick this black chick for? She's just a public pretender. We actually tried to soup her up like we did Kizzy. 2 K names. Is that K names? Kizzy, Ketanji, Kizmikia. Could just be coincidence. Or it could be a fact like how much Chris Rock is cooning right here.
He's the blackest white guy I fucking know. And then all the negative things we think about black people, this fucker.
You're saying I'm a nigger?
Yes, you are the niggerest fucking white man I have ever.
It's so funny, dude.
He could do that.
Oh,
what?
I don't think he has those
There's
qualities.
only 2. You don't even understand.
Really?
You don't really know him. Like I've worked with him.
No, like your bit about.
I wouldn't use it anywhere.
No, exactly. These two.
We
use
say
that
nigger on stage.
On stage.
You guys don't. That's
that's
an interesting 2 teams
that's
here.
The difference between
That's right. That's right.
We
say
can pair
nigger on
up in
stage.
different
You guys
ways,
don't.
but that's definitely a pairing. Who
We
says
say-
nigger on stage? We don't.
Well, you just did.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
You and me say
No,
nigger in
no,
private.
no.
These two guys don't. I don't believe he says it in private
I'm
much.
giving it up just because it's played.
I don't believe it's. I don't think you've ever said it probably in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. That's a huge difference between you and me, I think.
Well,
That I've said
you
it.
found the humor of it.
Yeah.
I haven't found it.
Right.
Nor do I seek.
Because there ain't no humor in it.
Oh my God, find a way.
So Seinfeld just saying, well, I mean, I'm not an asshole. I mean, you're a racist jerk. I mean, see the difference? It doesn't really work for me because I'm not a racist jerk like you. I use it all the time. So I'll just be clear. No, man, he went to slap Chris Rock. Yeah, he don't cut it out. Ain't he the same one telling your ass to get jabbed up too? Boy, y'all got short memories, don't you? The sellout gets slapped. Big deal. So, niggas no snitches. They riding their bell with them. It's all gravy as long as they don't tell on them. But me and my team, we a machine. Mess with my mans and I'm going to have to intervene. See, we different out here. That's some other shit. He been on code, yes. Let me see. Okay, so I got a few old clips to show you. And I believe that, like, a lot of the stuff that these guys was talking about at these older, are some of our elders, and one that, well, rest in peace. He was murdered at 21, but of course would have been one of our elders right now, Mr. Fred Hampton. So I got Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, and we're gonna finish on Marcus Garvey. So we finna run through these few clips real quick. Let's see. I think it's this one. And so let me go to Fred first. I'm gonna do Fred Hampton first. Because I want you to see something that in these videos, I'm going back to these because of the programs that they knew they needed for the Black community. And now with these individuals like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and members of the Panthers, now that they're gone, we've had other people usher in these tailored versions of what they were talking about, which always eliminates the main element of what they were trying to make sure we got as a future generation. And one of those being education. So the Panthers were very big on education. And so the programs that were supposed to be coming for the kids were supposed to be bringing education like life, finance, political science. Because maybe if they were able to let that happen, then we'd start having an institution to where young Black children can learn about money and learn about how politics works versus just Saturday morning cartoons. I'm just a bill. I mean, that's about the bulk of we got. And the kids now, good luck. So let's get to Fred Hampton. And I want y'all to just, absorb this energy and understand we have to be this hard and persistent and seriously focused about us and our children and our tribe and our nation's future. Because this is it. It's absolutely about nation building. It is. And one thing we have to do is we have to make sure, because they made sure we started raising dummies. You saw what I read you. That generation has failed its youth. The generation before it failed them because they made them think that integration was what they needed. Well, we are of a new generation. As you can see, some of the offspring of that dead generation are still here. So what you got to start deciphering is how many of these young people are still of that dead generation? Because although they may look young, they're just old wine. Old wine that hasn't got much sunlight, so the bottle hasn't getting beat up yet. But it's still just as old as all the others. Or you got the new wine to think different and actually say we can actually have something happen. We talk about two totally different kind of people. Now, if you're trying to progress, you got to cut something loose, don't you? So, man, I'm just trying to get y'all back to where we need to be as a unit overall. And that is being able to unify, understand one another, love one another, call one another out in love if it's some straight up punk shit, and be able to be on one accord in what a standard of behavior is. And when that standard of behavior is fell below by way low expectations, like having a college student who is a college graduate and who is absolutely doing big business deals with big major companies, resorting her to when you see her, all you seeing is her twerking. But she's literally a savvy businesswoman and a smart girl and actually savvy pen. But what sells? Lowbrow sales. So what do you have to do? You have to commit yourself to lowbrow. How much low vibrational material can you put out before you become that? So we're trying to go in a different direction, And it does start with people making hard choices and sacrifices to say, damn, what the direction I was going, I got to do an about face and get about this righteous business about being with my people and being on point and being on code. Because as y'all see, being on code, even with a small group with nothing, can make shit happen. But the one thing that you got to eliminate out your game is you got to eliminate the conversation that we all have to ourselves of failure. Don't fail yourself before you even give yourself an opportunity to win. And that mouth, people will literally talk a spell of defeat on themselves. Don't do that. Full speed ahead, family. With focus, with insight, with wisdom, with tactfulness. You understand? We know who we came from. We ain't reverting to the gutter because we didn't come from that. So we're not finna deteriorate from that. We can recognize the errors of our ways and stop it. So without any further ado, the first video I'm playing, our brother Fred Hampton.
You basically knowing my ideology, basically you knowing me knowing yours, you can support some of our programs. Is that what you're saying?
Why not?
And you believe in programs like the Breakfast for Children program and free health clinics? Right on, brothers?
We believe they're good things.
Uh-huh.
As a focal point to organize their mothers and fathers.
Uh-huh.
Peace.
Mm-hmm. There's no educational program here?
That's come out of the social action thing. You know, you set that up, bro. I mean, we can't put everything on one piece of paper.
What about this bank?
Credit union?
Mm-hmm.
Credit union. Credit union, my brother. Is a bank. You're hip, are you hip to credit unions? It is a bank.
Yeah, you go and borrow money?
Yeah, it's a bank. It's a bank. Owned by the people. Run for the people. And by the people.
What will money be given out to people for?
Well, the people would decide that. You want to buy, you know, whatever, you know, the people in the community decide. You need some living room furniture, maybe? You need a car, maybe?
See, the thing is with me, you dig, I need to know some more about it. I wish you had some more literature about the educational thing here. Because, you dig, as far as we're concerned in the struggle, the way we look at struggle is that this depends on the educational thing, you dig. Because
this depends on the education. Well, the whole thing.
No, but in the end, this does. You can form this with no education. You can form this and this.
No, not the way we're talking about forming it. You know, right. We're talking about forming it right. You know, it's not on the paper. We didn't write it on the paper.
You form it right with no education.
No.
Let me give you an example. Jomo Kenyatta formed the excellent revolution with no education. And on the end thing, Jomo told the motherfucker, said, well, you know, you can educate, hate the enemy, but I'm your brother. I'll help you lead the revolution. Now I'm more pressure. Another example, Papa Doc in Haiti. Papa Doc in Haiti hated everything white. Man, you couldn't put this white paper in front of Papa Doc's face. But he moved all the white people out and he took over and be oppressor. He did, causing no education. And the people that had been educated, they just said that we don't hate the motherfucking white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. So we got to know the educational program to find out what is going to be in the finale. A lot of people, Jomo Kenyatta is called never a revolutionary, but an ex-revolutionary. So is Papa Doc. They brought on a successful revolution. That thing in the Mao's was a bitch. Bantu freedom fighters, all that kind of action. But what we're saying is that it's the end. But you don't judge Castro now. You can't do it. Nobody in this room could judge whether Castro's going to be a revolutionary or not. You know what I mean? We're talking about things, you know what I mean, with China, the People's Republic, and even at the stage they're in now, talking about even going on further into a communistic state. That's what we're talking about. Those are revolutionary. So we got to understand here the educational program that you have to be able to figure out whether it will go on the right lines where the people will end up in a situation where they can be able to really control themselves. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, the people take this local foundation and start stealing money because they won't be really educated to why it's the people's thing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism like you got in Africa now, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be education program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, we are so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionalist movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more, and before you know it, they'll be capitalists, and before you know it, we have Negro imperialists.
Straight up. Straight up. So I hope y'all was ingesting what that brother was saying about the education thing and why education is so important and understanding why a group of people is doing what they do. And a lot of that, especially what's funny is at that time, there was no internet. So things could even get muddy then with no internet. How much more so now? So with that being said, we have to also be dually as vigilant to make sure we watch for the type of stuff that he was just identifying, because then we'll have somebody out here running rampant, talking crazy, and then everybody be like, he's the black leader. And they're over there talking crazy, bringing heat on everybody. No, we don't need that. Because at the end of the day, I hope a lot of people did see what was going on today in that meeting. That was a legal proceeding actually dealing with black issues. That's probably one of the first times I can say I've witnessed that in my lifetime. I mean, the last one was that I really remember like that was when I was little. Martin Luther King and Megan. How old is Megan McCain? Because she acting like, I guess if she's that much younger than me, cool. But like, I remember him standing on trying to filibuster, keeping MLK's birthday from being a national holiday. And then at the end, what Arizona elected to do as a state was not honor it as the rest of the country did. So they opted out as a state. Have you ever heard of that? A state opting out of a national holiday? You didn't even want the day off. How anti-black can you be? But with that being said, just also pay attention to how they package civil rights to us. They packaged civil rights to us that it was all about voting this, voting that. Well, instead of being force-fed the tailor-made story now, let's take a listen from a person who was actually of that particular time and get their perspective, shall we?
Last 10 years, the struggle in America has been confined to what has been projected to the public as a civil rights struggle. And in that context, it has remained a domestic problem. It has remained within the jurisdiction of the United States. And as such, it has been impossible for the Afro-Americans or American Negroes to try and enlist the support of other dark-skinned people who are being oppressed the world over in that struggle. And the difference now in the direction that the struggle is taking from the direction that the struggle has been going in the past, there are many of our people who are thinking more deeply and more broadly and are beginning to see the importance of lifting it out of the national context or out of the domestic context or beyond the jurisdiction of the United States government. And the only way this can be done is by internationalizing the problem and putting it at a level where it can be taken into the United Nations, and then all of the other independent nations on this earth can involve themselves in our struggle and support us. And the only way by which this can be done, instead of it being called civil rights in the future, we're going to have to label it a human rights struggle or the struggle for human rights. And as such, we can then take it into the United Nations through the avenues that have been set up by the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. We can take our problem before the United Nations in the same manner that the problem of South Africa, Angola, Mozambique, Hungary, the Arab refugee problem, it becomes a world problem. And as the world problem, then the Afro-American or so-called Negroes equal results, because it's not left up to the one who's responsible for it anymore, but it's put at a level where the whole can see that our plight is wrong. It stood in our path in the past. It also makes a difference in the leadership. Those who have been posing as leaders of our people in America in the past, they can pose on this local stage where Uncle Sam is the master of the show and can prop them up and make them look good or make them look better than they actually are by giving them token gains and building them up an image. But when they step onto the international stage or the world stage, then Uncle Sam can't prop them up anymore. And their ability or lack of ability becomes exposed. And if they can lead us forward, they remain leaders. But if they can't, then they have to step aside, and more qualified and bona fide leaders step up from the masses of our people, and then we get faster progress, we get more results. The Afro-American or American Negro intellectual perhaps permitted himself to be used in a way that wasn't really beneficial to the overall Afro-American struggle. But I think today these intellectuals have begun to undertake a new appraisal of the problem, looking at it as it actually is, and are beginning to see it more in the international context and the relation that it has with the African struggle. And the African intellectual is beginning to look at the problem in the African context and see that what might be good in one country, in order for it to be used in another country, has to be rearranged. You take African socialism. Many of the African intellectuals that have analyzed the approach of socialism are beginning to see where the African has to use a form of socialism that fits into the African context, whereas the form that is used in a European country might be good for that particular European country. It doesn't fit as well into the African context. So I think the African intellectual is making that contribution, and he's making it well.
Well, salute to the ancestor, Malcolm X. Yes, indeed. You know what? I think I'm gonna play. See what time we got here. I'm gonna play one more quick Malcolm X clip, and then I got a Marcus Garvey interview. So, you know, for those of you who have some youngsters who have never heard our elder Marcus Garvey speak, ooh-wee, you don't want them to miss this one. So right before we get that, here is again, I believe this is a different interview with Malcolm speaking again on civil rights.
They got another Indian to do it.
Oh. This was supposedly, see, I can't, the only way I can do this is to make it open. Roll on. Are they rolling? Yeah, we're rolling. Mr. Malcolm, you have been observing the events in the Senate gallery, from the Senate gallery today. What do you think of what's happening there?
Well, it shows that our people will be around a long time listening to others debate whether or not they're going to be acceptable as citizens in this country. And it's a shame for the President of the United States, who's the titular head of the Democratic Party and has, I think, a 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate, not to come on in here and do something besides talk to see that this bill is passed, if that's what he's for, and if that is what others are for.
Are you for this bill?
I'm for freedom, justice, and equality for black people in this country. And since the liberal element of whites claim that they are for civil rights legislation, I have come down today to see are they really for it, or is it just some more political chicanery that they're using to trick the Negroes into voting for them when the election rolls around this year?
Which is it?
Sir?
Are they sincere, or is it political chicanery?
Looks more like political chicanery.
You as a member, when you were a member of the Black Muslims, talked about Negroes returning to their homeland of Africa. And now Senator Russell has suggested that Negroes be voluntarily spread out across the United States. Do you think this would solve any of the problems?
No. Senator Russell is probably voicing in public that which most whites voice in private. It isn't that Senator Russell is saying this. It would probably be just as indigestible if it was said by anyone else.
You've been quoted as saying you feel there's a need for another march on Washington. Is that correct? And what type of a march?
I said that if the Civil Rights Bill, which is being used as political trickery to make Negroes think that there is an element of people in this country who want the Negroes to have their rights, if it runs into the same thing that the March on Washington ran into, which means it produces no results, the frustrations of black people in this country and their disenchantment with all of the political maneuvering and false promises of the politicians has reached the point where you will find a large number of people, probably both white as well as black, but a different element this time, coming back down to show their dissatisfaction.
Why do you feel that someone like Hubert Humphrey, who has such a small percentage of Negroes in his state, would be working as hard as he is for the Negro cause?
I don't see where Hubert Humphrey is working so hard for the Negro cause. It's not the Negro cause when you try and bring about independence for all people in this country. Any thinking person is working for the so-called American cause. It's not a cause. You're not working for my cause when you try and practice what you preach. You're working for the cause of that which you're preaching is supposed to be an example for people of the rest of this earth to follow.
Then the senator is working for the American cause.
The senator is a politician, and most politicians work for whatever cause is necessary to keep them in office.
But if the results are good for the Negro, why can you complain?
All of the promises that Humphrey and the others have made have yet to materialize. So when you find a senator and he's advocating something that's supposed to be good for a minority, and no matter how much he advocates it, that minority never sees that which he's advocating materialize. To me, it's just another political, it's political chicanery.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
You're welcome.
The sound of when the interviewer is shook. Oh, Louise said, she said, love it, chicanery, right? So, we are going to get into, I'm not sure how old. So, some of these clips, bear with it because, you know, this is early 1900. So some of the clips might be a little rough in spots, but for the most part, the volume is good. So he's going to give a lecture to start, and I really want y'all to just absorb this. You dig? Check this out because he's going to give up some powerful words of wisdom that still are prevalent to this day. So remember, always have intentional conversations and always intentionally enter into discussion. So without further ado, let me get this brother queued up here. I think, wait, not that one. There we go.
We in this section of the world Marcus Garvey settled that question for thousands by forming the U.S. branch of the UNIA and ACL in June 1917. On June 10, 1940, at the age of 53, Marcus Mosiah Garvey died in London of a severe stroke without having set foot in Africa. But his impact there was tremendous. He left a rich legacy of history for us to study and utilize in our continued quest for independence and liberation as a people.
The black race is one of the branches of the human race. As a section of humanity, he occupies a position in the world at the present time most unfavorable and most uncomfortable. The black people are subjects of ostracism. It is sad that our humanity has shown us no more love, no greater sympathy than we are experiencing. Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest in things, social, political, and economical. This therefore suggests a problem and one that must be solved. We in this section of the world are not entirely free from this unkind, unsympathetic, and uncharitable behavior of the groups or races around us. But since man has been placed on his own responsibility, whether he be black, white, or yellow, he must act on his own account. We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it, whether you will it or not. Those of us who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms, and triumph of our civilization and world. We unfortunately have not been trained nor educated to the truths of life, paradoxically so. He has shown us no more love, no greater sympathy than we are experiencing. Wheresoever you go throughout the world, the black man is discarded, is ostracized, is relegated to the lowest in things, social, political, and economical. This therefore suggests a problem and one that must be solved. We in this section of the world are not entirely free from this unkind, unsympathetic, and uncharitable behavior of the groups or races around us. But since man has been placed on his own responsibility, whether he be black, white, or yellow, he must act on his own account. We will not unduly whine or complain, but reason among ourselves and see what can be done to remedy this state of affairs. Life is a conflict. You have to fight your way through it, whether you will it or not. Those of us who are able to fight most stubbornly live, accomplish most, and to them go the laurels, the palms, and triumph of our civilization and world. We unfortunately have not been trained nor educated to the truths of life, paradoxically so. May I say something to you to give you a true knowledge of yourself and life, so that the same glory and success attained by other men who understand themselves may be yours. Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man in lacking the knowledge that man is used to beautify the world and produce all that he needs for his happiness and civilization. Look the world over, and whatever you see in it that is pleasing to man, contributing to man's comfort, to his needs and to his satisfaction, it is but the work of man. Man blessed with the knowledge of himself and the understanding of all things around him. If you are able to live with the knowledge of yourself and with the greater knowledge of nature, you must know what is good and what is not. You must know what is finite. You must know that which is material, physical, and otherwise is at your disposal to create or otherwise use. If we leave America and go over to the east, to Japan, they will be telling their fellow citizens of Japan of the wonderful accomplishments of the Japanese people, proving that man is moving onward as time moves on. But you have hated yourselves as you have done in previous years. You have shown malice, prejudice, and hate to each other. And the result is that while other races have made progress, while India has made progress towards nationalism, while Ireland has made progress towards republicanism, while the whole world has made progress in man's accomplishments, you still stand fighting yourselves, dishonoring yourselves, showing no disposition toward that higher life so that you will be abundantly blessed. So reflect and think that you were created for some purpose other than exhibiting malice toward your neighbor or fellow men of your own race. What a pity it is that we cannot stand united without a written law. There is no written law compelling other races to stand together. They are brought together by the gentle touch of nature. The unwritten law of nature causes them to stand together on all occasions. So wheresoever you find them in the field, that one gentle touch of nature causes them to stand together, if need be, die together. But with the black man, you can preach to him from the pulpits. You lecture from the platforms, from the byways and the hedges. The spirit of cooperation, but he will not cooperate. You talk to him gently, you try talking harshly to him, he still will not cooperate. The result is that he falls prey to those who understand themselves and walk through the world making you their serfs and slaves. You must acquire an understanding of yourselves. Look around you. See the smiling pictures of nature, the beautiful hedges, the wonderful mountains, the wonderful vegetation all around. But because of your disposition to each other, you live in suffering, in want, in penury, and in debt. You lack the gentle touch of nature, love for each other. You hate yourselves. Black men, and what is wrong with you? Why have you no affection for yourselves? Could I hope to see you living among yourselves as the people I've spoken of? Living in charity, love, and in sympathy with each other? It can be done. I wonder if you will adapt that course. Isn't it easier to enjoy prosperity than to live in ignorance and darkness? Why select the worst out of nature? Nature never gave pain, suffering, and death to the world. It was man himself who selected death, pain, and sorrow. I wonder if I cannot inspire you to select between good and evil. Let me impress upon you once again that whatsoever your hardships may be, whatsoever your difficulties in life, they are your own selection. And so if you encourage them, if you husband them and take them to your bosom, they will abide with you. Nature will not take them away from you as Mother Nature did not give them to you. She is not responsible for your sorrows. Mother Nature represents all that is beautiful. She gave you the highest personality in the realm divine. Your sorrows are your own. If you want joy, if you want sunshine, it is before you abundantly in nature. I made a selection of sunshine, the beautiful sunshine. I made a selection to laugh with the moon, to laugh with the stars, and sing with the birds of the forest and of the wilderness, to join in the rhythmic music of the winds that sing from east to west and from north to south. Had I selected sorrow, I would have been dead a long time ago, and been without that which would send me into the presence of the divine, because I would have lived not with the knowledge that is divine. We must acquire the higher knowledge of life. Black men and black women, will you get the knowledge that the white man has that causes him to be leaders and masters in the world? They are not gods with a peculiar source for understanding the world around them. They have only given expression to the knowledge of their humanity and been able to use and conquer all to their satisfaction and glory. And that is why they are always greater than you in every community that you find them. Isn't it strange that wheresoever the white man is found, he takes precedence over you? Why is that so? Answer that for yourselves, black men and black women. Wheresoever you come in contact with the white man, you always have to go down in defeat before him. Whether it be in England, in France, or in America, you always have to go down to the white man, and yet he has 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 hands, same passions, same senses and feelings as you have. Your feet are not put on opposite sides, now your hands turned around the other way. But it's because you fail to use your will, your knowledge, and your mental faculty to the point where you will enjoy life around you. I'm only here and not in the gutters and in the pond of despair because I use my intelligence. And I swear that no man alive shall ever use his intelligence in understanding the works of nature more than I. I shall rise as high as he ascends. I shall meet him on the same platform of mental equality and fight him till thy kingdom come, because nature created us equal. I want you to make up your minds as I've made up my mind years ago. Make up your mind that you will rise to the knowledge of your soul. Because of your ignorance, you cannot understand and decide between good and evil. You don't know whether you're doing right or wrong. With a greater knowledge of life, you're able to appreciate all things around you. I'm able to gather you here because I understand you. Understand your neighbor, your wife, your children, and you will be able to live in harmony with each other and get the best out of life. The early Africans were able to be the fathers of our civilization because they persevered in their object. When we hear the civilization of the Alexandrias, of the Timbuktus, the creation of the black man in the early ages, do we realize that the civilization we now enjoy was handed down to the present century? But the black man went back to sleep and is still sleeping. We are trying to awaken you to the true consciousness of yourselves. You young black men, you young black women, may we not appeal to you knowing you as we do to turn over a new leaf, rejecting the ignorance, the foolishness, the childishness that has been your part for these many years. We have looked into your faces, you growing manhood, the rising generation, and no serious thought can we see registered on your countenance but the thought of vulgarity. I've been in your presence and my heart bleeds for you, the conduct you reflect. I've listened to your dirty language used to express yourselves when you could have expressed yourselves in good form. Can I appeal to the black manhood to turn over a new leaf? I'm ashamed of my black manhood, and what I've said to the black man, I also said to the black women. Your conduct is disgraceful. Young women whose personality spells respectability, at the least provocation, the filthy words they utter would almost make you turn and run away from them.
Your conduct is going to destroy you. You're driving your best friends away from you. Men will not respect you because you do not respect yourself. As I come in contact with my race from both a financial and social point of view, I realize how weak we are in these senses that makes us success. You are your worst enemy.
The sound is a little janky and broken up right here, family, but I'm going to let it run because it's about to come right back in.
And the next thing you hear, he's out of business, thrown down by you and his brothers. Have no faith and are dishonest to each other. There is no love for the man in black. See how we are struggling with strangers in a foreign clime, struggling in America, in Europe, in Asia, and in Africa, where men look upon us, not with love.
The government of the United States, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation's director, J. Edgar Hoover, accused Marcus Garvey of using the U.S. mail put on trial.
After 11 hours of deliberation, the jury was called in by the eminent Jewish jurist Judge Mack and given a second set of instructions without their request. The gist of it was that if they had come back with a not guilty or hung jury, to remember the expense in which the government would be put, the public would have lost time, the court, the jury, and the witness would have to go through the entire exercise again. They went back into the jury room and 30 minutes later came back with a verdict. Justice is greater than the law. If justice was not included in the law, then the law would be of no use to us as human beings. What I was concerned with was the truth. I asked no mercy. I asked no sympathy. I asked for justice based on the evidence given in the courtroom. I later found out that the judge wanted to speed things up because he had an appointment with the International Zionist Convention in Chicago. It was also due to the fact that I had acquired my first set of papers for naturalization. In my closing statement, I told those 12 men that they were to judge a man by the testimony, by what had been brought into the case, by their judgment of what is wrong and what is right. You may condemn the body, but not the soul. It was not in their power to condemn the body. God condemns the soul. Judge me, and God will judge you for judging Marcus Garvey. The trial took 5.5 weeks, and every day I had a fight with the district attorney. As we went along, I realized it was impossible for me to escape the traps that were being laid out by the press, rival organizations, personal enemies, foreign governments who were interested in me being convicted. No one, not even the absent attorney, could have fought for me as I fought for myself, because he would have been risking the friendship and goodwill of the powerful influences that were aligned against me. There were several witnesses brought in by the government, who probably because of a bribe would say anything the prosecutors told them to. For instance, Edgar Gray, a man with a superabundance of intelligence, could not say where he was really from. He claimed he was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa. That man was a coconut born in Antigua. Superabundance of intelligence, could not say where he was really from. He claimed he was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa. That man was a coconut born in Antigua. Gray disappeared from the UNIA with funds of the organization which he handled in my absence and for whom a warrant was out for his arrest. There was also Leo Healy. I regarded him as a friend. The very morning when he came in to testify, I met him outside, shook his hand, not knowing that he was there to testify against me. He said I was a good man, then I was bad because I did not pay him the bills of the Black Star Line. Garvey was not the Black Star Line. We were not asking his opinion of the Star Line. We were asking his opinion of Marcus Garvey. He said, understand that he believed that I was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Now he knows there ain't no black man a member of the KKK. Well, when we placed Mrs. Lawson on the witness stand, well, she wore dark glasses, obviously to obscure the movements of her eyes and her line of stare as she tried to communicate with the prosecutor. During cross-examination, we asked her to show her subpoena. As she fumbled around and looked at the district attorney, lowering her head, waiting for his approval. She said she bought stock in 1917, even though the Black Star Line never sold stock in 1917. It was not in existence then. She claimed to be sick, as were two other witnesses who were able to make a quick $30 in the 5 minutes they spent on the stand. Prosecutor wanted to appeal to the sympathy of that jury. A young man named Cargill admitted on the stand to the dismay and disgust of the prosecutor that he was told what to say concerning the circulars and letters supposedly brought in as evidence in the case. Folks try to misrepresent me and say that I do not like white people. Some of my best friends are white. The bishop, who was my friend since my youthful days, testified. When I asked him of his opinion of Marcus Garvey, he said, doubtful. They didn't understand what he meant. I was a public man. Opinions differ. Surely some men are doubtful of me and some are not. He didn't say that Garvey was doubtful. When I asked him for his personal opinion, the question was objected to and sustained by the judge, claiming that it was an improper question. There were some white-controlled newspapers who felt that I was railroaded. I remember one of them stated that my troubles began when I stepped on the toes of France and Great Britain, and that it was a very grave question whether justice had been in my case. After I was found guilty, they released me on $25,000 bail pending the hearing of the appeal. While waiting, I formed the Black Cross Navigation and Trading Company, business enterprises which comprised the Negro Factories Corporation, the Black Eagles Flying Corps, dress and millinery shops, a publishing company and printing plant, a phonograph company, a restaurant, laundries, a black doll factory, a hotel, a chain of grocery stores, and the Royal African Motor Corps, a fleet of moving vans. I was in Detroit when the mandate was handed down. Having received a telegram to return immediately, I got on the first train leaving for New York. When I arrived, I was brutally seized by heavily armed men and pulled from a Pullman car at 125th Street Station and taken to the Tombs prison. But that there are certain people who do not like me because I am black. They do not like me because I was not born in the United States. Some Irish slave master gave my great-great-grandfather his name. Garvey is not an African name. It's Irish. Garcia is not African, nor is Thompson or Johnston. They were inherited from our slave masters, English, French, Irish, or Scotch. If I was born in Jamaica, it was no fault of mine. It was because the slave ship which took me to Jamaica did not go to American ports, and that is how some Negroes in America were not born in the West Indies.
Mr. Garvey, why would you want to stand up to a great republic like America?
We're not fighting America. We're not fighting this great government.
Then what are you doing?
We're fighting hypocrisy and lies, and this we're going to fight until the bitter end.
Are you fearful of being deported?
There's no federal law whereby I could be processed against on the grounds of being an undesirable from the point of view of deportation.
Yes, there is. Under Section 19 of the Act to regulate the immigration of aliens to and their residence in the U.S.
I arrived in this country on March 23rd, 1916. Today is June 18th, 1923. That law still has not been enacted.
From the NAACP says, and I quote, Garvey must go.
Which is why J. Edgar Hoover has trumped up these charges against me.
Do you think it was a good idea to fire your attorney?
Yes.
Do you think that representing yourself could backfire on you?
No, I do not.
Why not?
The Constitution allows every man the privilege to defend themselves, to prove his innocence before an American court of justice, and so I decided to do so irrespective of being a lawyer.
District Attorney Mattock asked the jury, quote, gentlemen, will you let the tiger loose? What's your reaction?
Guilty men are afraid of jail. I'm as much at home in jail for the cause of human rights as I am in my drawing room.
Well, what did you think of Mr. Dancy's testimony?
Mr. Dancy was used by this government to testify against me. You heard him when the prosecutor asked him whether any of the letters were from the Black Star Line.
He couldn't remember.
He couldn't remember. Mr. Dancy can't read. My life is at stake and he couldn't remember. What happened in that courtroom was a charade. You all know he was just lying through his teeth.
You're a foreigner. Why are you making all these waves? Even George Harris, editor of the New York News, a colored newspaper published in Harlem, referred to you as an alien.
An alien is one who enters a country on his own account without any invitation and who domiciles himself in that portion of the country because of his own desire.
Isn't that exactly what you do?
Fathers, but against my will, by stubborn protest, somebody seized me and brought me here from my silent repose in Africa 300 years ago.
When they get rid of you, then what?
This is only the first Marcus Garvey. There will be other cubs in the fold.
You met with Edward Young Clark, the acting imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan?
Yes.
What was that meeting like?
It was rather cordial. He made it clear that they are interpreting the true spirit of every true American.
What is the attitude of the Klan towards a Negro who desires to be, say, President of the United States?
That he shall never be as long as there is one white man living in this country.
But isn't America a white man's country?
Yes, it is a white man's country because he conquered the Indian, exterminated him, and took possession of his property. I'd say the KKK is the invisible government of the United States.
What do you mean?
The Klan represents the spiritual feeling and even the physical attitude of every white man in this land.
Do you realize that such statements could get you lynched?
We have 5 million substantial oak trees between Africa and the West Indies. We are ready for a lynching party tonight if they wanted to.
Recently, there have been several rapings of black women by whites. Was that discussed?
Yes, it was. He claims that they are as much against that as any self-respecting Negro should be. But I know better. In my opinion, they are structured for the purpose of offending, suppressing, and killing Negroes. I would advise every Negro and those who aspire to leadership to form an organization similar to that of the Ku Klux Klan so that they may be able to look out for their own interests and not continue to be begging white people to do for them what they ought to be doing for themselves. Thank you very much. Part of my trial is that I was indicted along with others for conspiracy to use the United States mails to defraud in promotion of the Black Star Line Steamship Company. Yet my conviction was void of conspiracy in that I alone was convicted. If I understand my conviction clearly, I was convicted for selling stock in the Black Star Line after I knew it to be insolvent. The difference between us and the trial court is that they wanted a conviction. All the others who had more to do with the actual selling of stock than I went free because they were not wanted. I received the fullest penalty that the law could impose. 5 years in the penitentiary, the maximum fine of $5,000 as provided by the law, and the entire cost of the case, a condition not generally imposed maybe once in 25 years. It was not Marcus Garvey on trial. It was not a question of money on trial. It was the principle of a race fighting for liberty on trial. And when you attack the principles of the UNIA, Garvey goes to war, and he remains on the firing line until he passes away or until Victor perches on the banner. I am going to prison because I dare to serve you, neglect my home, a loyal and dear woman, my wife, and myself. Above all, the things I prize most in the world is the honor of my name. I have never in all my life, to my conscious knowledge, done one mean act, because it has always been the policy of my life to live with honor or die for the principle. How well I have succeeded is made manifest in the sweeping consciousness that has taken hold of the race in Africa, America, the West Indies, Central and South America, Asia, and my imprisonment for so doing. The National Association for the Advancement of of colored people, and others who have combined to fight the UNIA are going to be disappointed. As they cannot harm
certain.
Not Judge Mack, not J. Edgar Hoover, not W.E.B. Du Bois and his Blue Vein Society, nobody. The history of the movement is now being written. Do you know what history means? History is the guidepost of a race. It is the inspiration for succeeding generations either to go forward or stand still, either to revenge or be revenged. I had a motive and a purpose. It was a crying voice from the grave that said, Garvey, we have suffered for 250 years for your day and time. We expect something of you at this hour. The prejudice against us as an African people is not because of color, it's because of our condition. The prejudice against us as an African people is not because of color, it's because of our condition. If we must have justice, we must be strong. If we must be strong, we must come together. If we must come together, we can only do so through the system of organization. But to fight for African redemption does not mean that you must be disloyal to any government or country wherein you were born. It is not our purpose or intention to send all black people back to Africa. No! Those of us who leave America to go settle permanently in Africa will become pioneers, pilgrim fathers of the new nation. The African race became strong in Africa, it could be strong everywhere. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were brutalized, we were maimed, we were killed, we were ravaged in every way. We are men. We have hopes, we have passions, we have feelings, we have desires just like any other race. The cry is raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise a cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is a man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet against the wall. We do not want his back against the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It's because of this that we are asking for a fair compromise. The Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use. They have not the resources to develop nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There are certain parts of Africa in which you cannot live at all. So it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Africa's been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today Africa is walking around not only on her feet, but on her brains. You can enslave, as was done for 300 years, the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men, bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn you around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you will have wrought will, you will have merited God's blessings. And as you bow down to the white man today, so will other races bow down to you and call you a race of masters because of the superiority of your minds and your achievements. We must canonize our own saints, create our own martyrs, and elevate the positions of fame and honor. Black men and black women who have made a distinct contribution to our racial history. Sojourner Truth is worthy of a place of sainthood alongside of Joan of Arc. Christmas Addicts and George William Gordon are entitled to the halo of martyrdom with no less glory than that of the martyrs of any other race. Africa's produced countless numbers of men and women in war and peace whose luster and bravery outshone that of any other people. Then why not see good and perfection in ourselves? God made man Lord of his creation, gave him possession and ownership of the world. And you have been so darned lazy that you have allowed the other fellow to run away with the whole world, and now he's bluffing you and telling you that the world belongs to him and that you have no part in it. I don't have to apologize to anybody for being black, because God Almighty knew exactly what he was doing when he made me black. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good-for-nothings. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other races have done, what other nations have done, then you, can we do it? We can do it. If any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Let me say that again. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. Britain under William Pitt Earl of Chatham did it. America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it. Because when the history of my suffering is complete, future generations shall have in their hands the guide by which they shall know the sins of the 20th century. I know, and I know you too believe in time, but we shall wait patiently for 200 years if need be to face our enemies through our posterity. After my enemies are satisfied, in life or death I shall come back to serve even as I served before. In life I shall be the same, in death I shall be a terror to the foes of African liberty. Than me to be the real Marcus Garvey I would like to be. If I may come in an earthquake or a cyclone or a plague or pestilence or as God would have me, then be assured that I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you. If I should die in prison in Atlanta, my work shall not only just begin, but I shall live in the physical or the spiritual to see the day of Africa's glory. When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up with God's grace and blessings to lead the millions up the heights of triumph in the colors that you well know. Look for me in the world when there are storms. Look for me all around you. For I shall come back and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America, who have died in the West Indies, and millions who have died in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. The world today has gone drunk and crazy with its power, and by such through injustice, fraud, and lies have crushed the unfortunate. But if I'm crushed by the system of influence and misdirected power, my cause shall rise again to plague the conscience of the corrupt. For this I'm happy to suffer and even die, for I will write the history for the millions that are coming and leave the posterity to reckon with the host for the deeds of their fathers. If others laugh at you, return the laughter to them. If they mimic you, return the compliment with equal force. They have no more right to dishonor, disrespect, and disregard your feeling in manhood than you have in dealing with them. Honor them when they honor you, disrespect and disregard them when they vilely treat you. Their arrogance is but skin deep, an assumption that has no foundation in morals or in law. They have sprung from the same family tree of obscurity as we have. Their history is rooted as primitiveness as ours. Their ancestors ran wild and naked, lived in caves and in branches of trees like monkeys as ours. They made human sacrifices, ate the flesh of their own dead and the raw meat of wild beasts for centuries, even as they have accused us of doing. Their cannibalism was more prolonged than ours. When we were embracing the arts and sciences on the banks of the Nile, their ancestors were still drinking human blood and eating out of the skulls of their conquered dead. When our civilization had reached the noonday of progress, they were still running naked and sleeping in holes and caves with bats, rats, and other insects and animals. After we had already unfathomed the mystery of the stars and reduced the heavenly constellation to minute and regular calculus, they were still backwoodsmen living in ignorance and in blatant darkness. The world today is indebted to us for the benefits of civilization. They stole our arts and sciences from Africa. Then why should we be ashamed of ourselves? Remember always that the Jew in his political and economic urges are always first a Jew. The white man is first a white man under all circumstances, so you can do no less than be black, buy black, and then all else will take care of itself. No one inoculate you with evil doctrines to suit their own conveniences. There is no humanity before that which starts with yourself. Charity begins at home. So first to thyself be true, and thou canst not then be false to any man. Being at present scientifically the weaker race, in your homes and everywhere possible, you must teach the higher development of science to your children. And be sure to develop a race of scientists par excellence. For in science and religion lies our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. At the great Church of Rome, black people the world over must practice one faith, and that of confidence in themselves, with one God, one aim, one destiny. Never forget your God. Remember, we live, work, and pray for the establishing of a great and binding racial hierarchy, the founding of a racial empire whose only natural, spiritual, and political limits shall be God and Africa at home and abroad. Because we are descendants of a suffering people. We are the descendants of a people determined to suffer no longer. Many men and women as black as I am, and even more so, had believed themselves white under the West Indian Aryan Society. I was simply an impossible man to use openly the term Negro, yet everyone beneath his breath was calling the black man a nigger. I had to decide whether to please my friends and be one of the black whites of Jamaica and be reasonably prosperous, or come out openly and help improve and protect the integrity of the black millions and suffer. I decided to do the latter. There is no future for people who deny their past. My foreparents, my grandparents, my mother, my father did not suffer and die to give me an education to slight, oppress, or discourage my people. Whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million black people of the world. And the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more light for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumption of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior, that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. I predicated my view of man in the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, were created in the image of God. From this premise followed the equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men to dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race, because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship his God as he desires. We have found a new ideal. Because whilst our God has no color, and yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles, and since the white people have seen their God through their white spectacles, we have only now started to see our God through our own spectacles. We believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, and we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. Do you know what it is to be a man? To be a man is to bear resemblance of the Creator, the image of the Creator. If you are conscious of the fact that you are created in the image of the Creator, then you are a man. Man is a religious being. That is to say, you must have some kind of belief. Call it superstition or not. Some of us make our God the God of fire. Some of us make our God the God of water. Some of us make our God the God of elements. And others of us accept the Christian belief. Religion is something we cannot eliminate from his system or destroy in him. Therefore, it is folly for any man to go about attacking another man's religion, because to him it is fundamental. Be a Mohammedan, that is your religion. We are entitled to our own religious beliefs. Some of us are Catholics, some of us are Baptists, some of us are Presbyterians, and we deem it a right to adhere to our own particular belief. The white world has always tried to rob and discredit us of our history. They tell us that Tutankhamun, the king of Egypt who reigned about the year 1350 BC, was not a black man, that the ancient civilization of Egypt and the pharaohs was not of our race. But that does not make the truth unreal. History of impartial mind knows that we once ruled the world, when white men were savages and barbarians living in caves. Thousands of our professionals at that time taught in the universities of Alexandria, then the seat of learning. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt. No black man shall be truly respected until the race as a whole has emancipated itself through self-achievement and progress from universal prejudice. He has to build his own government, industry, art, science, literature, and culture before the world will stop to consider him. Until then, we are but wards of a superior race and civilization and the outcasts of a standard social system. Back in the days of slavery, race mixture and miscegenation had occurred because the African woman had no protection from the slave master. So there is no need today for black people to themselves freely continue a practice that smacks so much of slavery. One of our problems historically is that we have always been reacting to initiatives taken by other people. You cannot depend upon another race to free you. That is a basic law of human existence. I came into the Caucasian culture at a time when the white man still had a need for the black man's labor. I preached and penetrated the mass black man's consciousness to such a degree that the white man felt threatened by me being capable of commanding so much black time and attention. Whites find it hard to sit idly by and let this black man take their slave labor away, especially back to Africa. Who then would bear the white man's burden? I feel that my blood shall pay that remission for which future generations of our race shall be declared free. Freedom of action, freedom of opportunity are things we need, which I believe can only be gained after we shall have established an imperial power to command the respect of other races and nations. Thoughts bring vile actions to vile people living in vile times. You could not tell me in the 1920s that 80 years later the world would be infested with neutron bombs, AIDS, drugs, homelessness, terrorism, laser beams, and visible nuclear devastation. However, were I alive today, I would still recommend the same remedy for my people's upliftment: self-esteem, self-respect, and self-reliance in a world gone crazy with individualism. I never taught racism, but rather dignity and pride in one's race. With God's dearest blessings, I leave you for a while. One love.
Well, I think that pretty much says it all. You know what I mean? Just a real quick recap. For those who are unaware, that's Marcus Garvey, and also somebody who presented a kind of a rebuff real quick at the end, using his voice if you wonder what was going on. But all of everything that he is saying, we ended up literally we're still going through the same thing. So I look at it in the long run, and I hope people do. They have long tried to, they have long masterminded the art of rat mazing, or i.e. keeping us on the hamster wheel. And understanding what he was saying, yeah, he's right. Eventually there was going to be us to pop up. And no, we ain't waiting for nobody to give nothing. If you need to just figure out what type of name you need to put on the check, we can work the particulars out there. But the truth of the matter is, we ain't going away. Simple as that. So you have to deal with us. And I want y'all to understand, as much as they could get down with, we can play word games with y'all, they can't. Because at the end of the day, this situation has already been internationally recognized. How much more money will we watch them spend trying to combat the new black media and the grassroots? I just seen them throw $9 million down the drain at these other girls that ain't even finna get off the ground. They don't stand a chance. $9 million down the drain. BNC. See ya. Who's next? We are looking for Clyburn's seat. You got Roland Martin out here. What about y'all gonna come down here and help Gary Chambers? Who? Oh, the gorilla black looking nigga that's over there smoking a blunt in the chick. Get out of here with that bullshit. No, we actually supporting the real candidate. And at the end of the day, all Black Lives Matter, right? Because now it's all black, just like you heard the brother say. See, so if one of your own community who is of our community can understand, all black just mean all black. Well, then maybe you guys need to start getting on his page and follow suit and drop that bag off too. So I almost forgot. Before we go, New Black Media, if you didn't know, we do have our own candidate because Jim Clyburn must go.
What you are looking at is a monument to Wade Hampton. Wade Hampton was one of the largest enslavers in the state of South Carolina. This was one of the largest slave-holding states. And yet, here on the Capitol grounds, there is a monument to him. If South Carolina wants to recognize and remember this period of history, then it is incumbent upon South Carolina and the United States as a whole to repair the damage that has come from this period in history. At the end of the Civil War, Black Americans who are descendants of American slaves, legislatively called freemen, were supposed to receive their 40 acres in a meal, but that never happened. Instead, they saw their black Wall Streets burnt to the ground. They experienced Jim Crow, they experienced redlining, which robbed them of billions in dollars of wealth. In order for America to heal, Black America has to be repaired. I am running to repair Black America because until we all stand, we all have fallen.
And that's a candidate, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, and if y'all have been down with this broadcast for a while, y'all know I've been following what he was doing because he was the only one that I was seeing out there getting at Jim Clyburn. And the question was so direct, I'm like, oh, okay. Because if y'all remember the video I played months back when Jim Clyburn up there, he got the nerve to sit up there and say, oh, yeah, well, if you guys want cash, you know, it probably ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. It was actually Marcel. That's who actually was getting at it. So, yeah, like I said, and remember what I said then. I was like, I'm not sure if this brother is running or not. Clearly, you know, he sounded like he might be down with the alternative lifestyle. But, hey, man, if you want it, you got it, baby. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Marcel for U.S. Congress. Man. DIY queen. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I mean, think about how long they had him quiet. So the reason why, understand, my whole reasoning for this broadcast today is to show you all of these things that they use to distract us from our focus. You know, and sometimes, so, you know, we have to always be mindful to keep entertainment, keep enlightenment, keep empowerment. And always keep the damn devil out of our house because Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Let it fall and let us rise. Shout out to all the ancestors who spoke tonight. I mean, the word still holds strong, putting foots to asses and fire in spirits and wisdoms in minds. So as we further go down this path and journey that we are on here in the last winding days of America, I hope y'all understand what y'all hear. You know, this is it, like Michael Jackson. So get your contingency plans together, which means, you know, your water, your canned goods, your dried goods that'll last, all those other power tools and accessories, your extension cords, you know, things of the such. You might, like you say, you never know. You got to keep that steel handy, as you never know when some trash might need to be blown away. Just saying. Shout out to Professor Black Truth. Boy, he needs to make that a commercial for real. By the way, if you watching, brother, that's that is classic, brother. And it's so pertinent and so well laid. Power tools. Yes, indeed. So family, always, like I say here, you know, you better stay vigilant and stay safe and you stay alive. You can follow me on Instagram, beatzillapdx. You can follow me at Twitter, beatzillapdx. You can follow me at Facebook, beatzillapdx, and on Patreon, beatzillapdx official, and on Melanated People, Michael Beatzilla Whitmore. And you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And also, we also have the podcast, Our Real Truth, with Michael Beatzilla Whitmore. And that's, actually, I'm sorry, that's Our Real Truth with Beatzilla PDX, official. And that is at Anchor FM, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. And as it speaking of Spotify, it looks like Joe Rogan is leaving, but I assuming he ain't giving no money back. But you know, I guess this is enough. Whatever. So that to be said, repair Black America. Yes. That's a cold line. That line is for real. So man, it is what it is. I love y'all. Also, if y'all feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket by way of donation, thank you to Black Mama and Lord, wait, look at that message again. Hold on. Let me get your name. Let me make sure I got it. I want to get you right. Sarah Hartford, I believe, is who it was. So yes, Miss Sarah, thank you so much. And so, since I said your name in here, I will not divulge what your name is in the chat. I try to keep those together. So, as age progresses, I have to remember which handle and which profile is which person I'm aware of. But thank you both so much. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be up under you and everybody watching this broadcast this evening and in the replay. Thank everyone who has participated in the chat. We have fun here, You make sure I got everything out of here. I do. Oh, and one more thing.
Got to watch these old niggas.
Never forget. Oh Lord, if you are new to this broadcast, we do have fun. We crack jokes. It's a serious platform by all understanding. But sometimes you got to lighten it up as well. So every now and then, I may slip on in, or you might, kind of ease the pressure of the heaviness of the truth. You did. I mean, cause shoot, some of y'all might have just got used to this. I mean, you're not ready for stuff like I do.
I remember your love when I was at my worst. Let me tell you, piece of scum, I'm supported from above. Your man in my DMs while you're talking shit behind my back. All the shit you said made you look like a little bitch that had your opinion, bitch, fuck that. What do
Woo, Lord. And, on that note, no tangibles, no vote. And anybody that got a problem with it, hey, we're going to have to do you like Jeremiah
First was the controversial Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
I say America, America's mother, America's daddy, America can eat a dick, America can lick the balls.
So all we gonna need you to do is drop off that
money.
But I do fully understand there's gonna be a lot of people asking, man, it's Lydia's base. Come on, man.
I mean, where is JJ getting all this cash?
Oh, Lord. Oh, you niggas and all of that reparations money you're not going to share. Oh, Lord. Hey, man, but we support everybody in the adventures of CARICOM. May you all get your money from them people. You just will not be going to the same bank we going to. So with that being said, y'all keep the stone of truth locked and loaded. Dig? I will see y'all Friday for the weekly wrap-up. Y'all have a blessed one, y'all. Shalom.
When you know who Satan is,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth.
Yeah.
See, that's what you throw.
Yes,
right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.